Hello, America. Welcome to the Junto Podcast, where we promote the practical applications of critical thinking and bold creativity. I am your host, Edgar Mills. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. This is episode 18, entitled Law Enforcement Training Analysis, with my friend Ricky Robinson. I'm going to let Ricky tell you a little bit about his background, and then we're going to kick it off. Go ahead, Ricky.
Well, let's see. November 6th of this year, I'll be going into my 25th year of being a mandated officer. A lot of what I do now is focused on training. I work for Georgia Northwestern Technical College, where I go in and help with the academy classes and help with training our campus officers and our armed security officers and weapons retention and things of that nature. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
All right, right on. All right, so good people. What we're going to address here today is, well, our analysis of the state of law enforcement training, mostly as it relates to lethal, firearms training and stuff like that. And we'll talk about some other things. But what I want to juxtapose that to is my background is the SOF Truths. In special operations forces all across, the force, there are 5 SOF Truths, and everybody knows these within the force. And number 1 is humans are more important than hardware. And I don't think I need to elaborate on that too much. Obviously, individual judgment and individual training is the thing that matters above and beyond sexy equipment and technology and all those things. So humans are more important than hardware. The second one is quality is better than quantity. In the conventional army, man, it's all about numbers, recruiting. And I get a strange feeling that cops are like that too. Standards tend to lower so that we can get more. I think a small, better trained force is just more effective. That's it. Unless, of course, you're in a war of attrition. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that don't relate to the police. And then the third SOF truth is special operations forces cannot be mass produced. Well, that applies, I think, directly to cops. Whenever you try to mass produce, churn out people, numbers, the standards hurt. The quality goes down. That's just it. That directly supports the second SOF truth. The fourth SOF truth, competent special operations forces cannot be created after emergency. It's too late. Yep. If you weren't prepared and you're not ready, it takes time to create well-trained dudes. That's all there is to it, or gals. And then finally, and this one was an addition and within the past 10 or 15 years, most special operations require non-SOF assistance. So read that as support and enablers. And in the special forces business, that means EOD personnel or additional intelligence personnel. And if you're a special forces company, you're going to deploy with a couple of supply guys, for instance. So narrowing that down to police, I think how that might apply especially with like intelligence, right? I don't know how detectives, they kind of build their own.
Well, they'll go out and build cases and stuff, but we also have the agencies, they'll have programs where they can, if they're looking at something specific, they can pull up a program that'll tell them, hey, this is something that's been going on in this area, and it's very similar to what you have going on. So they can look harder into it.
I think probably some of those big, like LA probably has an intelligence section.
Yeah, as far as around here, you don't have anybody that's just stuck as an intel analyst. You're going to have your detectives, your patrol officers, and your admin.
So juxtaposing those SOF truths to a modern law enforcement, and not just SWAT, folks. I'm talking about everyday cops, patrolmen, whatever you call them. These things, I think, directly relate because they speak to the need for a selection process. You can't just hire anybody off the street.
No.
You got to have an aptitude, right? For
allegedly.
Allegedly. Right. and then sort of a continuous training mindset, which in the military, yeah, we kind of get that, whether it's organizational or formalized at the schoolhouse. We kind of get that. I think cops would benefit from that. Just so, and then that selection process and that continuous training kind of leads to a culture of high performance. And that's what I think, that's what a police chief should want out of his folks.
Yeah. If I were a chief, I'd say, okay, we're 19 people short, but I don't just want somebody who can pin on a badge and hold up a uniform. I need somebody that's competent, capable, and willing to go out there and do the job and physically able to do the job.
And there's your physically able to do the job. Not just fitness. Yes, fitness, but technically able to shoot your gun. I posted a thing on Instagram. Did you see the thing I posted? The officer had the gun holster upside down on the belt.
Yes. And I looked at that and I'm like, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt that maybe they were into something and didn't realize their holster got turned upside down, but it's hard.
Ricky, I thought that too, man. I thought, oh man, that officer got something started happening. They grabbed their belt, threw it on upside. Nah, that holster was routed through the belt.
And I was like, I didn't get to look at it like for too long, so I didn't get to critique it that much, but I was like, yeah, well, maybe they just, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it's not hard to find, like, you'll see an administrator from one of these really big departments that's going out for their photo op and their gear, you can tell they haven't worn it so long that it's
never been used.
It's not in place where it should be. It's probably their assistant going, here, put this on.
Yeah.
And they're so disconnected from where they're at in admin to what's happening out on the road. They can't even put the gear on right.
Now look, I'm kind of making fun of cops right now, but there was a photo that was on like the Navy Times or something. There was like a commander out on a boat and he was shooting a rifle and it was like a Trijicon or something. Some bitch was mounted backwards.
Yeah, I've seen
that one.
Yeah.
And we just pontificated on how many dudes got fired over that, making him look like a jackass.
There's no telling.
But I mean, he was the final stop on that, right?
Right. You should be able to look at your equipment and go, that don't look right.
Hey, if you look through a scope and everything gets smaller, you're doing it wrong.
Again, that's where we talk about the photo opportunity, and it doesn't go over well.
That's right. All right, folks. So overall, what we're going to talk about, yes, we're going to examine and analyze training deficiencies, good and bad, not just the deficiencies, but good stuff too. We're going to try to talk a little bit about some cultural attitudes, things that Ricky sees from his perspective, things I've seen from other cops that I know that he knows. And then we're going to try to offer some positive, actionable, reasonable solutions to the things that we come up with.
Yep.
So we'll jump into current training and standards. So you working at Northwest now, you're right there on the ground zero.
Yeah. And you know, I go up and I'll teach Pitt and we've got a new class starting in a week or so. And you know, they'll send out the calendar. Where do you want to teach, or what can you help teach? And I pepper that thing. I try to teach everything I can.
Mm-hmm.
But with the new curriculum, now it's 809 hours. Now it's doubled. So you got 20 weeks, a little over 20 weeks. Some academies are a little bit longer, like Cobb County's will be a few weeks longer.
Yeah.
And you know, that's their departmental academy, and it's a really good one. But they have expanded a lot of the curriculum into stuff that now you're not getting sent back to your agency and you're having to find this training that's in the academy,
mm-hmm.
which is good. Like, they're going over active shooter response. They're getting, a fair amount of training in that they might not get immediately upon returning to their agency. Crisis intervention it's a 40-hour class. It's mandated by the state that everybody has to take. It's, dealing with mental health people who are in crisis.
Yeah. That's a tough one, man.
It is. And it's funny. And I've always looked at it like this. You'll see this new class that comes out and it's mandated by the state that you as an officer have to take. And it's like, man, something comes out and there's a problem, and it's give it to the cops. Let the cops deal with it.
Well, that's what my son's a firefighter and a paramedic.
Right.
And we've discussed like roles and responsibilities. Like, at what point as a cop, what is your role in dealing with somebody who's like, yeah, maybe a crime has been committed, sort of, but like this dude's mentally off.
Right. Well, and here's the other problem is, a number of years ago, like Northwest Regional, they shut it down.
Yeah.
It used to be if somebody was going through a mental crisis, or if they were just having a mental breakdown, and a doctor signed a 1013 on them, put them on a 72-hour hold, they'd pick up the phone, hey, we need a bed for this patient. The ER would call, hey, can you transport this patient over to Northwest? You'd take them over there. They'd go in. They have professional medical staff, psychologists, and everything else. Now we don't have that around.
And like proper security guys.
That's right. And now it is like pulling teeth to try to find a facility somewhere just to get somebody on a 72-hour hold that can, have that kind of treatment that they need. But, and you'll read the comments in the newspaper, somebody will get locked up for this and be like, oh, well, he's got mental health problems. Well, you can't just let him go back out in society. At least at the jail, they have mental health people up there that can come and see them.
Right.
And at least they're going to be where somebody can keep an eye on them, where they're not going to hurt themselves or somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's a double-edged sword. It really is.
It's tricky, man, because I'm no fan of the state in general. Everybody knows I'm a libertarian, kind of anti-state, as it were. But if you got somebody who's now, you may or may not, you're not qualified probably to assess somebody's mental. You can pretty much tell when somebody's acting crazy. But do you really know history and background and all those things? You don't.
No, unless it's somebody that you've dealt with time and time again, and that is like a legit paranoid schizophrenic or somebody that's extremely bipolar. And there are those people out there that they may only want to talk to one officer that they've dealt with before, and that might be the only officer that can deal with it.
Yeah.
And if that officer ain't working, what do you do? You have to look at all your options.
That's that whole mental health thing is very tough, man, because that's a delicate, even never mind crime. That's a delicate situation anyway.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about holding somebody for 72 hours if they're not mentally.
Well, law enforcement officers, they're not the ones that will do a 1013. That's got to come from
be a doctor.
That's got to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Or, and this, I don't like this. 2 family members can go to the courthouse and say, Jim Bob is off his rocker and we need him evaluated. And they'll go pick him up on a 72-hour hold if the judge believes him and haul him off.
That's all. That's the standard. 2 family members.
Yeah. That,
oh man.
That is,
I don't know if I like
the last I have heard it is that, and that's not been too long ago that I've heard that. But again, with law enforcement, policy and everything changes.
Yeah.
That's why you got legal updates.
Well, I don't know much about these red flag laws, but that's pretty, it's seemed like a pretty horrible bar to set to go take somebody's guns.
Well, I can say as far as the 1013 goes, I know judges are very, very mindful of signing those to where if I take somebody to the hospital that's just wigging out, a doctor can look at them and go, something's not going on.
Right.
But as far as red flag laws go, here's my stance on that. Somebody don't like you and they go tell somebody, hey,
I'm scared.
I'm scared of Edgar because, Edgar's this well-trained guy and he said something that I didn't like. And if somebody believes him, somebody's going to knock on your door. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Don't ask me to come to Edgar's house or anybody else's house and knock on the door and say, we need your guns because somebody's afraid of you or somebody thinks you're going to hurt yourself.
Look, Ricky, that's kind of one of those halfway jokes I tell when I train with cops.
Right.
Hey, if you come around here, the first 4 guys are out of luck.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And there's not.
But yeah, that's a bullcrap standard. Let's get back on. Let's stay on track for current training and standards. So describe to me real quick, what does active shooter training look like in the academy?
Well, it's all about how you respond to an active shooter, and it is not stand outside and wait.
Right. No, you just hit the punchline for me. If you, I'm
And
going to say this.
I hate to. I'm going to go ahead and throw him under the bus. Uvalde and that dude down in Florida that was listening to kids get killed.
Right.
It would take God Himself,
right,
to come down from the heavens and stop me from going and stopping somebody that's killing kids.
Exactly. So here's my stance on that: is that if you ain't willing to run into that danger to save kids, you're in the wrong job.
I agree with you.
That's it. You shouldn't be a cop. I don't care what the Supreme Court's already stood on that. Well, I don't know about Supreme Court. District courts have said you, as a cop, don't have to put your life in danger to save someone else.
When I worked for Rome PD, I went through active shooter, and we were on the range doing some drills. And I tell this story to everybody. I'm not going to say the dude's name. He's no longer in law enforcement. It's a really good thing. But everybody that knows me is going to know exactly who I'm talking about. This was somebody that had been at the city a lot longer than me, closing in on like 20 years.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and the instructor, John Walters, was the instructor at the time. And I don't mind saying his name because, he's a 100% sheepdog. He's going to do what it takes to get things done. He's retired now.
Right.
So. But he's like, look, if something happens over here at Rome High, and say somebody did, have a homemade bomb that went off, but now they're in there killing kids. Edgar, this officer at the time, said, those are not my kids. I'm not going in there.
Oh, no. Wow.
And you'll have to forgive me or bleep it out. I looked right at him and I said, I will shoot you in the fucking back on my way in.
Yeah. That's a shitty thing to say, and that alone probably
pissed me off because I got kids in the school system. They don't go to Rome, but they're in the Floyd County school system. I'm like, you're a freaking coward.
And that, does that warrant disciplinary action? I would definitely put his ass in the chair, though. I wouldn't.
Well, he got fired, so.
Oh, well, good. There we go. All right, fair enough. You don't need to be in this job, man.
That's right.
Golly. All right, so unless you're giving away some TTPs and you ain't supposed to, what are the recruits or the cadets? Is that what they're called?
They're just
boots, rookies. What do you call them?
Well, we just call them students, really.
Students. Oh man. Okay, we can't haze.
It's a lot, It's a lot different now from where it used to be a paramilitary police academy to where now it's not.
Well, I noticed that there are several, like yours is at a college.
Mm-hmm.
My son, who's a firefighter now, he went to a police academy in Florida, and it was like Hillsborough State College.
When I went to the police academy, it was in Cave Spring, Georgia, at the Georgia School for the Deaf. They give them a couple classrooms down there.
Yeah.
And, that's where he's at. And, been a long time. But you have, like Cobb County, they have their own.
Yeah.
Then you have regional police academies that JIPSTIC, the Georgia Public Safety Training Center, have throughout the state. And then you'll have, like Georgia Northwestern, they have their own academy. And when the students come through that academy, and a lot of them, I don't say a lot of them, some of them, usually 2 or 3 a class, will pay their way through the academy, and the rest of them are being sent there by their agency.
Sponsored, by an agency.
And when they're done, they get so many hours toward an associate's degree.
Yep.
So that's another benefit of that.
No, that's good. As far how that goes, it's kind of irrelevant to me is where they were training.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is that none of the curriculum are the same. There's some mandated stuff, right? But if you go to Cobb County and you go to Georgia Northwestern or you go to
it's going to be very
Macon.
similar. It's going to be very similar because the academy that we teach is approved by Post, and you've got to teach what Post says you have to teach.
Right.
Every academy's got to teach what Post says you have to teach.
So it is pretty much standardized.
So it's pretty uniform across the board.
Okay.
Now, like Cobb County, they may say, okay, our academy's 24 weeks long, but during that academy, they're going to cover more of their policy, and they're going to do their agency policies.
So as long as you cover what Post, then you
got to cover that 809 hours that Post says you've got to cover.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense to have,
Yeah, so it's very uniform across the state.
Well, that's good. Well, that's something that bothered me, and I'm glad to know that it is at least somewhat standardized.
Yeah.
That way, every cop. Now, that's not to say anything about tactics, techniques, and procedures on the objective or on the scene or whatever, but
right.
At least you guys are all getting the same information up front.
Right. And we were talking about expanded training. Like now, defensive tactics is 2 weeks long instead of 3 or 4 days.
Good.
Firearms is almost 3 weeks long now because we do pistol, rifle, and shotgun.
Yep.
And it also, they have to qualify on the state test, but then, we're doing other stuff with tactics.
Well,
I'm using the term "we" loosely. I see a lot of the firearms stuff, but technically, I can't teach it until I get done with my firearms class at the end of the year.
Well, we both know that the qualification is
so
at the low end of the shooting skill spectrum
There's been a lot of talk about that, not just with the instructors at Georgia Northwestern, but in my speaking with a lot of them that I know throughout the state is, they drop the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
And so you're shooting 15, 7, and 3. Well, as well as I do at 3 yards, 3, 7, 15, you don't even have to aim. And, coming out here at the pistol workshop, we shot out to 55.
Yeah.
and you're right. The closer you get after that target looks really big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and what's being found is that you're having people who are not very strong shooters who are eking by and making that 80% to qualify when, if you put the 25 in there and they got to shoot 6 rounds from 25, they're going to drop those rounds.
Yeah.
And they're either going to have to force themselves to get better or they're going to have to come back.
So, yeah, it's pretty low standard for shooting. And I don't know.
And it's, and I hate to say it, and it may chap some people's rear end that, put it out there, but we're talking about a low standard, and it's just target shooting. You got
you're not even
all the time in the world to shoot.
I had a sheriff deputy jailer come down from Chattanooga, kind of nervous about passing the upcoming qual, and I was like, okay, well, what's the time standard at this yard line? Just looked at me and blinked. I was, what do you mean time standard? There's no time. Okay, well, so you got all day? Yeah. I was like, well,
I don't.
Well, that changes things, but
you got 30 rounds to score 80% on 15, 7, and 3. My mother-in-law, who's 63 years old,
I know.
And I brought her out here that one day, and she's gotten so much more confident. She likes shooting that 19, but I put a Glock 48 in her hand. She controls it a lot better. She can get all the way around the grip. Yeah. And she shoots 95% on the GDAP. She's 63 years old. Wasn't even comfortable with firearms.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a police officer right now, listen to this. She's what? 60 what?
63 years old.
63-year-old mom. Nervous as hell. So
yeah, you remember.
Yeah.
I brought her up.
And now she's shooting a 90-something.
She shoots between 90 and 95% every time.
And there's cops out there failing it. Oh my gosh.
And
that's madness, man.
And some of them, who are capable of shooting and they shoot really well and they can shoot semi-fast. When it comes time for this is the one that's going to pass or fail you, they're standing on the line shaking sometimes.
Yeah. So that's the thing to me. And I know, probably the council of elders have got to bless off, but to have a higher standard to qualify with time standards, man, time standards.
I think there's too much time. I think that could be adjusted. I would like to see the 25-yard line be put back in there. And, we can practice them at that, and we can train them at further distances. But I would like to see that come back as part of the qualification.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think with, in my talking to other people, I think with what we're seeing, I think it'll probably come back. I don't know when, hopefully sooner than later.
So Georgia, the GDAC or the Georgia, the Post is what it is, whatever it is, right? That's what's got to pass the academy. But can you not build a curriculum to train at a higher standard? And that what you know what I'm saying? Like who sets up the curriculum?
So the curriculum comes from Post. Post sends out the curriculum and says this is what has to be done to pass.
Yeah.
You know, and we do, and what we found with the last class that went through was if we qualify them early and they're like, okay, I'm done, I'm qualified, then they lose interest on the tactics portion of stuff. So now they're going to have to go through all the tactics portion of everything, and the qualification will be the very last thing they do. That way they're forced to keep interest.
Well, look, man, in the Army, you do a diagnostic PT test for whatever, and then you do one for record.
Right.
So whether they pass a diagnostic or not, it's irrelevant. You got to pass the one for record.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You got do that. You know,
it's like as soon as they pass that qualification, it's just like I'm ready to move on to something else.
And so I'm assuming then,
and that was
by the way you laid that out, that tactics is not a pass-fail thing.
No, it's not, and I don't know how it would go over trying to implement something like that, or if Post would be on board with saying, hey, you need to be able to shoot.
Well, how would you quantify tactics, man? So I tell you how. You run through a scenario and you have marksmanship problems in there to solve, and you solve them under time, you know, in a house with furniture and things.
Yeah.
And shoot targets.
That's something else to look at. Could we get access to a shoot house because we don't have one, or could we get the funding to build one? If we could build one, I'd be all for it.
Well, I got news for you, bud. The Sims or the UTM are plenty accurate in a house.
So we have some sim stuff that we're using. You know, run off gas, shoot BBs and stuff. But
was that the unit system? What is that?
It's one of the Glock blue guns.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not really sure.
Yeah. I mean, so UTM specifically, I know is accurate. You know, you could probably. No, it's not pinpoint.
I think we just got a UTN.
Ultimate Training Munitions is the name.
Okay, I think we just got one of their AR style rifles in to try to use, where it's got actual detachable mag and stuff.
Well, they got bolts for the ARs. All you got to do is take your bolt out.
Okay, so it's a totally different.
So that might be simunition you're talking about.
Well, I'll find out exactly what it is that way.
I mean, Glock has guns too. That I think only law enforcement can purchase those. In fact, well, not in fact. I think. Yeah. So how would you quantify? So tactics is not even a pass-fail. It's familiarization. And what kind of scenarios are you running in there?
We hadn't really been there too much for that. Like I said, I get to see the aftermath and get to go over the critiques and stuff, but because I'm not an instructor in that, I don't get to be out on the range and see exactly what's going on with that.
That's interesting, man.
I'm definitely when I get through my firearms IT school, which hopefully should be sometime coming up in the fall.
Yeah.
And I get to see more of that, you know, we can go over that, and hopefully it's something I have confidence in what the guys up there now are doing. I mean, they're very competent instructors. So I have confidence that they're running them through real world type stuff, because they do get to use the blue guns and run scenarios wearing their face shields and stuff.
Right.
I do know they're doing that. And
well, let's get it.
And I want to say, I think they're setting up something in the bay, because it looked like when I was down there last time that they had some stuff set up so they could run some stuff in a big open bay.
Yeah.
But, you know, and that's better than not doing anything. Of course, we got like the fire tower down in the bottom that I think they've probably used.
Well, I think the Northwest, the campus that got shut down, we were using that for training for a while, but I think they're starting to.
Georgia Regional, the mental hospital?
Yeah. I did a couple courses in there. I did some with cops. I did some with some cops from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
I did one of my own courses in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
That place
what all they
is,
have planned.
it's
for
awesome training.
Yeah.
They're going to turn it into an office park or a industrial park.
Mm.
But right now, as it is, man, so much training opportunity.
Right.
Because there's houses on the outskirts that are all normal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're old houses, but they're still houses.
Yeah, I think there used to be staff housing back in
Yeah.
the 80s.
Yeah.
Not sure about 90s and beyond. But
Well, those houses look like they were built in the 50s.
yeah.
Those look like 50s houses to
Right.
me. Great training area, man. If I had millions of dollars, I would have bought the place and turned it into a daggum training area. I wanted to so bad.
Right, but I mean, between me and you and the listeners, if I had millions of dollars, I'm going to turn into a magician and disappear.
All right, so active shooter. I still want to know what the active shooter training looks like. And what are they teaching these guys? Are they saying, look, just go find the shooter and kill him? Are they saying, you're under no legal obligation to go into...
No, it's a little bit more blunt than that. It's more like, you need to go and find this person. And you need to stop what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to have to step over a dead body on the way or somebody asking for you to help. And you got to ignore them.
I used to train with St. Petersburg SWAT team down in Florida. And they had access to, after hours, they had access to there's the big mall down there in St. Petersburg. So after they closed, we'd go in and train at night.
Yeah.
And the question was, hey, Edgar, what would you do? How would you do a mall? I was like, well, I would take a battalion of infantrymen. And they were like, well, I mean, active shooter in the mall. I was like, that's a tactical nightmare.
Right.
But you got to go toward the gunshots. That's all you can do.
Right. I mean,
watch your...
The very first thing you should do is be going for those while keeping your head on a swivel.
Well, yeah, and hopefully, if you're the only dude going into a mall, you got to at least get close enough to the shooter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's easier said than done. I know it's a crazy setup, but two guys, that's all you need, man. You can cover each other's movement. Yeah, you got to be on the job.
Right.
Cover those dead spaces. Cover the corner. Whatever.
Yeah. And
get to where it's going.
Yeah, I mean,
but there's no magic bullet for that to train on, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, every scenario is going to be different, man.
Yeah, and that, even when I'm teaching people, like, I'll do weapons retention and ground fighting with our people, and I try to stress to them, like, it's all circumstantial, and every circumstance is different.
Every single one.
It's you never know. It's like playing chess, but it's a different chess game every time you walk into a different room.
Yep. That's it. It's different every time. So that's one of the reasons why I stress marksmanship so hard.
Absolutely.
Because the problem, ultimately, if it's active shooter, it's a shooting problem to be solved. Yeah. You got to get there safely.
I'm 100% in agreement with you. And, how do we... you have such a short amount of time, even though we have more time now for firearms than we did have, it's still a relatively short amount of time to try to get folks where they need to be.
I would love to see what Post does with 3 weeks of firearms training, because 3 weeks is, it's short, but man, it's
a lot of time.
And if you work that right, you can get all the stuff. Do you need as much training on a shotgun? I mean, what do you guys use shotguns for?
No, just the shotgun is not like, where you're not going to be teaching them how to breach doors with a shotgun.
So you guys, you don't breach with them. You use them. Do you use slug, or is that for like non-lethal?
No, you would, it would be for buckshot, slug, buckshot type thing. The thing with less lethal stuff, like if you had beanbag rounds, you got to go to a certification for that, for the state. You can't just say, here, Edgar, here's these 3 beanbag rounds. We're going to go in here and you use them first. You got to have a certification for it.
If you trained on a shotgun, it ain't that good enough.
You would think, but you got to be certified on this less lethal stuff. That's like my argument with the taser when they first went to tasers. It's like, well, you got to get hit with a taser to carry it. You need to know what it feels like. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to stick my hand in a damn fire to know it's hot.
Yeah. I don't have to get shot with an
Yeah.
M9.
And
It's a no.
I still took my taser ride, but at the same time, I still argued against it.
Nah, I got the old taser. Yeah, whatever, man. It sucks.
And we don't. It's like OC spray is not done in the academy anymore. If you want your officer certified with OC spray and taser, you do that when they get back to your agency.
Because the academy don't want to deal with it.
I don't think it was the academy. I'm not really sure who made that decision. But I was like,
so pretty much every department has OC. Is that right? Every guy, a taser, firearm, and then some may or may not have an AR-15 in the trunk.
it depends on the department.
Yeah.
You got some more well-funded departments and some that are not so well-funded.
Right. I know some that they get like a little stipend. Well, not stipend.
Well, you get
like
a uniform allowance.
You get a little allowance to go buy a gun, but it's only like.
Well, no, it's not really specific
coming out
for
with
a gun.
Palmetto arms.
It's more for, you get X amount of dollars for a uniform allowance during the year. And if you don't want to buy a uniform or replace your uniform stuff, and there may be some agencies that say if you have this left over, you can use it to purchase backup or something like that. I know the AR that I used on the road was my personal one.
Yeah.
I carried it for 15 years. It's in my gun safe at home.
That's crazy. It's crazy that, it's money. I get that.
And I had a shotgun before that, but I had to beg to get the shotgun. And there's like, well, we got to have somebody turn one in first. I'm like, why don't y'all just buy some more? It's not in the budget. I'm like, come on.
So in the scope of police work, though, the shotgun's used in the same capacity as a rifle or whatever. It's just a defensive firearm you just happen to be less capacity.
Which you get the attention of a crowd if you get out and rack a shotgun and you need to. I mean,
no, that's true, man. But
I'd rather have
I'm a capacity man.
I'd rather have the range and capacity.
And I don't subscribe to the buckshot slug business. It's, fucking either go buckshot. That'll kill people. But I hear these NRA dudes talking about, well, you put birdshot in your first load and then you have, nah, man.
I'm not putting birdshot in anything, but.
Well, we won't scare him. No, that ain't what you want to do. If you're scared enough to shoot somebody, you need to be like, do the job. Yeah. So shotguns are weird because they're very versatile. They don't get trained to the extent of the versatility.
No, they don't, and it's like your sidearm is your primary. So we're going to train more with it.
Yeah.
Then we'll train with your rifle, and then we'll train with your shotgun.
Yeah.
And as far as the academy goes, as far as what Post has put out, they've done a really good job at expanding the curriculum and getting more training out there.
Yeah. So
that, when these officers go back to their agencies, they do have a lot more training than we've ever seen sending somebody back. Because, on top of the active shooter and stuff like tactical casualty control, when the active shooter's over, if you can render aid to people, render it, and this is how you do it.
Yeah.
They're focusing on mental health more, officers' mental health, which is
in the academy?
Yeah. There's officer resiliency course that they go through. And it does address, the mental and emotional toll that you can get out of law enforcement. I'm just to give you an example. I started with the county when I was 19.
Yeah.
I was on the road by the time I was 20. The first murder I was ever involved in was it was 2 months before my 21st birthday, and it's a 14-month-old kid.
Yeah.
And I had this kid that's dying in my arms. I didn't know what to do. Right. Handed him off to firemen. Didn't know it was a murder to begin with. Come to find out later that the kid's aunt had thrown him up against the wall.
Yeah.
Blunt force trauma to his brain and stuff is what killed him. But that's one of those things. Something you really. It's like, okay.
Well, look, man. Let me just look at this from what I think is practical. Like that's tough, but that's sort of an after the fact sort of care.
Right.
I think they need to focus on the aftercare. And I think in the academy, yes, you're going to see gruesome shit.
Yeah, that's kind of the basis of hey, you're going to see this stuff, and then if you keep if something's bothering you, you definitely want to talk to somebody, and this is stuff like nobody was telling you that back when I first started. Hey, you need to talk to somebody.
Right. I got you.
And
so just making officers aware and the academy of the resources available.
Right.
Yeah. How long is that block of instruction?
I'm not really sure exactly the whole time frame.
I mean, like if it's more than a few hours,
I don't think it's not like a week long or a day long.
Right.
It's not a very long.
Yeah.
Very long course, and now, it's one thing they're covering extremist groups and stuff to look for.
So I can see that.
And
I can
I
see
think
intelligent, like that kind of.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think I had mentioned this to you in the past, something that I said, hey, we'll talk about this, is when Homeland Security locked up the dude over here in Rome at the Islamist Center of Rome for financially aiding terrorists. And I didn't know it till after the fact.
Yeah.
Nobody had said anything. And I put this out on our chat log. I said, hey, if y'all didn't know this, take a look at this. And I made one comment that said, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Uh-oh.
My captain read that and he said,
you insensitive son of a bitch.
Then my phone started ringing. He said, I need to see you at the station.
Oh, man.
I went in his office and I'm like, hey, what's going on, Cap? He's like, you need to be very, very careful what you say on chat because it's public record and everybody can read it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, right here where you said the apple don't fall from the tree. I'm like, well, yeah, it doesn't. He's like, you know,
prove me wrong.
Right. And I'm like, and when I left, I was like, did that really happen? Did he just get on?
Oh man, yeah, it happened. It did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
That could be
like 2010.
Still, that'll be twisted in every which way.
But, that's one of those things. Like, I want my road dogs to be aware of this. And if you see something, if you're going by there, I'm not saying go and sit there and
no, but that's a higher level thing. Like, that's a higher level of like intelligence gathering that
and it may be
outside the purview of a street cop. How do you know how this guy moves money around? Like,
yeah, and you don't.
But right.
The fact that somebody is aiding terrorism from there.
But if somebody else knows that, they should.
Now you can kind of see, just take a look around. You never know.
Yeah. Now that's sort of an ambiguous one, man, because that's like the guy's probably upstanding citizen otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And he happens to be a financier.
There. Yeah.
Because on the big terror, like, there's financiers living all over Europe and Scandinavia and everywhere else who drive nice cars, dress nice. They're not.
Yeah, they're not out there making IEDs and stuff.
Right. They don't walk around with their S vests on or whatever. And yeah, so that's a higher level of intelligence gathering. It's good. It would be good to let you guys know what's going on, but
not see the report 4 months later. It's like, oh, we got this guy sitting here.
Now, if they were moving guns in and out of there, that's a whole nother thing.
Well, see, that was kind of my thing. Like, look and see what's going on, because you see somebody taking in a bunch of crates in there for some reason.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe worth looking at.
But that's like a couple years ago when them knuckleheads got locked up for plotting whatever. You didn't know about that around here, did you?
And what were they plotting?
They were like sacrificing a goat, and they were like some of these crazy.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, they.
What was the charges, like animal cruelty?
No, like they were like legitimately planning on going and assassinating people and stuff. Like they had an undercover guy.
Like teenagers, or was it like a sort of a group, like a organized group?
I lost my train of thought on it, but it was very interesting.
Madness. So, all right. So back to the academy. So we got 3 weeks of firearms training. We got some active shooter response training of some sort.
Yep.
And then we got all the stuff you could do online at home training, like resources and things like that. And you said defensive tactics was longer.
Yeah, it's significantly longer now. I think when I went through, I had 3 days of a couple scenarios and a couple pressure points. And what I found out in the long run is those pressure points are fine motor skills, and you can't always get those.
Oh man,
and it's a rarity to get
yeah, madness. And now it's what, it's 3, how long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Damn, that's pretty good.
2
So
weeks.
for those of you that don't know, defensive tactics is essentially fighting, but subduing folks, cuffing folks, defending yourself, like literal fighting, ground fighting, standing, all that stuff. I guess you use batons as well.
Yeah, they get the ASP training and,
ASP, yeah,
and stuff like that. A lot of hands-on, how to take down and control somebody.
Yeah. No, that's good. See, that's worth extending. So the things I think are important are the things to where you could end someone's life or where your life could be ended.
Right.
And those two things are like at the top of the list right there. Who even
if all we had to do was teach them how to drive
and driving, yeah, for sure, driving,
and teach them how to shoot and teach them law, and that's all we had to spend time on, that'd be awesome. But we got to cover these other requirements too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The other requirements. At some point, you got to examine the priorities and the how important is this. And then you do, in the Army, we have the composite risk management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You weigh, it's for operations, for training, whatever it is, you got to do a risk management. You got to weigh the likelihood of something versus the severity of that thing happening. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if it's highly likely to happen, and if it does happen, it's very severe, guess who ain't going to sign your, CONOP, your commanders, and be like, no,
right,
fix all this. So when you're training new recruits and you're spending time sitting in a classroom talking about the resources available in case your feelings get hurt, like that's an after the fact thing to me. So they probably don't take as much time as I'm making out here.
No.
So
it doesn't.
If you got 3 weeks of firearms and 2 weeks of defensive tactics, I mean, that gives you what, another week and a half or so. So, driving probably.
Yeah, we got to do, emergency vehicle operations, and that's where they have to go through a cone course and show driving proficiency and stuff. But, the cone course, we're teaching them the cone course. They're going to know where they're supposed, how to drive it by the time they're done, because they're going to do it repetitively. And, these chiefs and sheriffs are sending their people down there so that when they come back, they are mandated officers. So they're going to want that repetition so that they can pass. That's like when we do the GDAC. It's repetition after repetition after repetition until you can shoot it and you're not going to miss.
But essentially, you're teaching the test. You're not teaching the skill. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Now, I'll say when we do the pit, and I'm gonna backtrack a little bit on the pit, is when you're teaching them how to pit, you are teaching a skill. Yeah. If you don't do that right, it's going to hurt.
No, it's nuanced.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Should the pit maneuver be in the academy? Absolutely not.
No?
No. Hell no. You got these folks coming in there who have no life experience.
Yeah.
This might be their first job. I mean, you'll have the one or two unicorns in class. It's like this real high speed dude. He's 35 or 40. He's, been in the military most of the time. He's real disciplined. He's paying attention to what's going on. And, he can handle a certain level of stress, and he can handle an adrenaline dump. But you have people who literally have never been in a fist fight, that their dream is to become a law enforcement officer. You know what? I'm glad people have dreams and aspirations, but becoming a cop and being on the road is not the place you want to find out how hard you can be punched in the face.
Yeah.
You need to be going and doing something, whether it's boxing, kickboxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, something.
That's one of my training cliches is you don't want to learn something for the first time in real life.
No, absolutely not.
Whether it's getting hit, whether it's getting shooting. In some of the classes we do when I train with military and cops and stuff, we'll lay down side prone, shooting underneath cars and all the crazy stuff like that. Like, I don't think that stuff's that important, but also I don't think you want to be trying to figure it out for the first time when somebody's shooting at you.
I 100% agree with you.
So it's worth doing, things like that.
You don't want to have a shit moment. What do I do?
Yeah.
Because you've never done anything.
Yeah.
And
or just shooting from awkward positions. Like dudes who do it a lot, they'll jump down on whatever fucked up position they get in and put boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Guys who don't do it, they spend 30, 40 seconds trying to figure out how to get so they can put their gun oriented on target.
I mean, if you can get your gun up and you can see the target, you should be able to shoot it.
In theory.
Yeah, but, all shooters not created equal. I don't consider myself a strong shooter. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's expensive, man. Training, but I think it should be done. I think it's a shame that the academies don't have like formalized follow-on regular training. I ain't talking about here's your 50 rounds for the month or.
Yeah, that's where we're talking about departmental open range days.
Yeah. So here's what I call open range days. When I went to SOCOM, I became the SOCOM marksmanship program lead.
Right.
And when I showed up there, they had open range days. And I showed up to one of those open range days, and it was just a dude who literally opened the range. And then you could go out and shoot whatever you want to shoot. Right. I called that whatever the fuck you want Friday.
Right.
That stopped immediately. If you're just out there, if you don't have something, it's like going to the gym and you just go in there and lift this, lift that. If you don't have something you're doing purposely,
yeah,
you're wasting bullets, man.
I agree with you. It should be, hey, this is the open range day that we're having. We'll have something for you when you get there. And when you get there, we're going to work on this. You absolutely have to have that purpose of being there, not just going and shooting a couple rounds at a target. And that's
but also it shouldn't be voluntary. I don't think. You got to have some formalized. Now, I know dudes are off or dudes are. This is one of the things I've seen the most training with police is that it's a training day, right? Here's what we're doing today. And dudes kind of just come and go.
Right.
Middle of training. Oh man, I got to go. I got my wife, whatever.
So we're talking about mandatory training and in-service training and stuff like that. Rome does a really, really good job with in-service training. It's mandatory. You have to be there.
Yeah.
And it covers everything that you're going to have for the year to maintain your certification and then more. And, they'll go through repetitive active shooter training, and it might not be, going out on the range this time. It may be more of a classroom setup, and then the next time may be some range time involved.
Yeah.
But they're in,
getting down in nuts and bolts. Like I think video analysis counts as training if you're doing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you do it in a very structured way that you get.
And the best I can remember, there's a lot of video that the active shooter portion that Rome put when they do their in-service.
Yeah.
The best I remember, I haven't been one of their in-services since 2017, so I don't want to, step on my toes with that. But, as far as tactics and active shooter and stuff, Don Davis out there at the training center, really excellent trainer, really, really knows what's going on. And I'd go into a hot house with him.
Yeah. All right. So initial training, it's getting better.
It's gotten a lot better. I think
the standards are weak. Like the qualifications.
Qualification standards.
That's what I'm harping on the most.
Could use some improvement. No argument with me there. I agree with you. I think it should be very difficult.
Yeah.
And I don't think 80% should be. I'd like to say, hey, you got to shoot 100%. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Do I think everybody should at least be pressed to do 90 or better?
Well, are you providing the training to get them there? You said now at the academy, I get it, man.
If you're at the 15, 3, and 7, there's no reason anybody should not be shooting a 300.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, never mind that. That's right. And then it's only 80%. And that's the whole silhouette, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's madness.
Well, I mean, there's, you've got the center, let's talk like an IPSC target, like the A zone.
Yeah,
and then you have like the B zone.
Oh, I thought it was just scored silhouette. So you got points for.
Yeah, there's you'll see zones. There's little dash marks that
Yeah.
It's like this is your primary
Yeah.
zone where you score your most of your points, and then the further you go out, you lose points. If you're in the green, it's just a
Okay.
zero.
So it's similar to
So there's some.
It's similar to IPSC or something like
right.
that. Then where there's I didn't remember there being scored zones on their target. Well, that's at least they got that, but 80%, yeah, still. Oh man.
Yeah, and like I said, there's no reason on that 15, 3, and 7 that anybody should be shooting less than 100%.
So I'm gonna throw some. Now some of these are kind of oldish numbers, but this is and from 1998 to 2006, NYPD and all the gunfights in that time period, those jokers had an 18% hit rate.
Yeah,
that's an 18%. We just said, it should be higher than 80%. 18% hit rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's with all the factors involved. When people have that moment, if they're shooting 100% and they hit that adrenaline dump,
real life is going to degrade.
Real life is going to degrade that down.
But
that's a lot. Like, I mean,
maybe
if
it depends on how much you train.
If you're but I'm like just throwing this out there. If you're like the everyday dude that goes and shoots the GDAC and you shoot 100%, you can expect.
That don't mean anything. Yes,
that don't mean anything. You can in real life you're going to be shooting like 40%.
Nah, if you're shooting 100% on that, it don't mean shit. If you have a higher standard and you're shooting 100% on that, yeah, variables are going to come into play, and there's going to be you're dealing with more variables. That don't mean
18% is not acceptable.
That means you just determine whether or not to take that shot, right, in the moment, no matter how much adrenaline or whatever. And I've had cops go, Edgar, you don't understand under stress.
No, I'm not going to say that. I know your background,
but I get it. But you can train that too, man. You can't completely.
Well, that's what we do out here when we're training against the clock. We're adding that little bit of stress.
That's a little bit of stress. I'm a fan. Now, I don't know if all the high-end firearms trainers I'm a fan of UTM and force on force because that's where you can replicate. You can throw in variables and people have to react.
Right.
And, it hurts enough that you're getting lessons learned out of it.
Yeah, it's going to get your attention, but it's not going to.
Especially if you get caught short not bringing your cup to training.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one way to test those tactics under stress because you get a little amped up, even though it's blue guns. You still a little amped up,
Well, I look at it like this: when I get the blue guns, like I want to be the winner anyway. So
you want to win. That's right.
I want to win, and I don't want to win. And I mean,
well, look, man.
Even in real life, I don't want to win and be carrying a bullet with me.
No,
I don't want to be.
You want to win.
I want to win.
That's it.
That's right.
I mean. I tell people this all the time. Functionally speaking, everyday carry competition or action shooting and combat shooting or whatever you want to call it is functionally all the same. And everything has in USPSA you're not up on you don't get the clout. The other ones, that's it. Right, you don't go home, or you catch some pillow, or you get put in a wheelchair for the rest of your life.
Yep.
So how people don't take it more seriously is just freaking beyond me.
Well, some of the same guys I know.
Yeah.
They get out there and they're spending their own money, buying their own ammo.
Yeah.
And man, I wish departments would be like, here, take. And I get it, budget money. It's always going to be about money.
Yeah,
here's your 300 rounds. If you're going to go shoot with Edgar and you're going to pay him to shoot, we're going to pay for your ammo.
They should do that. They should do that.
I know one department that does, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
Everybody be applying to that.
Yeah. Well,
but even 300. See, that's another thing that non-shooters don't understand: the amount of bullets you shoot.
Yeah, and when you're buying, even if you're buying, decent range ammo out of pocket, you're looking, $15 to $18 a box for 50 rounds, and you're gonna burn through 50 rounds in 10
I'm gonna
minutes.
plug Southern Munitions. I get remanufactured ammo from them, 1,000 rounds for 190 something bucks.
Dude, that's awesome.
And that's where I get my ammo from.
And
I go through
I haven't.
1,000 rounds and
Well, I know I've seen you shooting out here, and I never did pay attention to what kind of ammo you got, and it's not like you're having malfunctions or stovepiping with it. It's good ammo.
I've had bad batches from them before. Hey man, to work on your daggum clear malfunction and keep moving. You know what I'm saying? People get bedazzled when I'm shooting the drill. I'm trying to demonstrate, and then I just have a light strike unbeknownst to me, and I just pop it and keep going. They're like, oh man, you did that so fast. Yeah, no shit, because that's the game, right? Stay in the fight and all that stuff. I hate when people have malfunction and look at me. Oh, look at their gun. Slap, right, pull, keep moving.
Yep.
So even light strikes, whatever, man. Quality ammo. Yeah, you can get 1,000 rounds for 190 something bucks.
Yeah, I mean that's
pretty serious. That's pretty
good.
Let's see. I still want to rip a little bit. Dallas from 2003 to 2017, hit rate 35%. Dallas PD. Now that's a big, and they got a lot of crime down there.
Yeah, they do.
FBI statistics in 2023. FBI statistics of 810 fatal officer-involved shootings incidents. 810 out of all the ones that happened, and 810 of those had stray rounds where there were bystanders. Some guy hit, some didn't. That's 810 lawsuits potentially.
Yep. And that's one thing that if anybody's listening to this who have, their goal is to become a police officer, number one, they need to understand that every single round that comes out of that firearm, you don't get to take it back. It's not going to come back to you. And whatever it hits, you're responsible for.
So my libertarianism is going to step in here. Qualified immunity. So here's the thing that I think that does is that it's a little bit of a crutch. Now it's a safety net, right? That's what it's meant for. But it's also, to me, a little bit of a crutch. Because if I accidentally, if some dude tried to rob me and I shot him and missed and shot someone else, there ain't no qualified immunity going to keep Edgar from standing in front of a man and getting charged with involuntary manslaughter or reckless endangerment or, whatever other things they could pop on there. So I know that I have, because for cops and for civilians, and soldiers for that matter, people have this impression that soldiers can run around and just go do the village, right? That don't exist, man. Every shooting in the military gets a freaking investigation, right? Everyone. Well, one, they're looking for body. They want to know, one, how many and who and what caused it and who made a decision and this and that and the other. Obviously, everyone has rules of engagement changes throughout time, but everyone still gets an investigation, man. And just like every one of yours gets investigated by GBI, probably, and every civilian gets investigated.
GBI is they're going to get called if it's an officer involved,
right?
For sure.
Yeah. So every bullet has a potential lawsuit attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, you're accountable for every single one.
Yep.
Even if you're training out here in my yard and you shoot yourself or shoot someone else in the foot, still you're accountable for that, man. Well, so it ain't just cops and just soldiers or just anything. People don't.
Yeah, and, qualified immunity. It was meant for. This officer's doing this in good faith. He's not being neglectful. He's not doing anything intentional.
Yeah.
I get it. And sometimes when I hear people talk about that, you can tell the people that know what they're talking about. And then you can tell the people it's like, oh, well, he shouldn't be able to not do A, B, or C. If he's in the right, I get it. If he's just being neglectful or he's just a criminal himself,
right,
he's not getting qualified immunity.
Well, reputation goes a long way probably with that. History, work history.
Oh, yeah.
If you've been in like 8 officer-involved shootings in the past 3 years, you probably need to go ahead and put the brakes on that.
Probably need to be put in, internal affairs or a desk job somewhere.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the mentality, right? The dudes that'll go buy their own ammo, they have a mentality. One, well, a few, but one of the guys I know who was and it's a shame that it got to this, but a cop, he got shot in the leg. He ended up killing the guy. It was a good shoot. All the things. But let me tell you who's super duper serious about training, bro. That guy. And he spends money. And he's got his equipment's good. He comes out 1,000 rounds of ammo. He's not fucking about because he don't want to get shot again. You know what I mean? So it became real to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think for a lot of cops, some go their whole career and never have a chance to make it real.
Yeah.
Now the world's getting crazy, and people are doing wild things, but
yeah, it's not. Nobody's going out there saying, "Hey, I want to get in a gunfight today." Nobody's doing
for
that.
sure.
But if it happens, damn, you got to be ready for
it. For sure. And that's one of my whole mantras about train to a high standard so you can have confidence, so you can be more judicious when it comes time, so that you don't have to use it. But if you're slow and this guy's already got the drop on you, that you don't have, that's it. You're stuck to a course of action.
I asked the guys we were doing weapons retention the other day. I said, "What wins a gunfight, speed or accuracy?" And they were both like, "Speed." I said, "Speed don't mean shit if you can't hit what you're aiming at."
Yeah, it's always a trick question, ain't
it? Yeah,
always.
And yeah, I don't mind telling you I stole that from you. So
no, it ain't stealing. I probably got it from some crusty old dude.
It was, good training day. So I mean, I'd like to get them on the range more myself.
But that's a good mindset though, because there are people who swear to you, "Oh, you just got to be accurate. Just take time, breathe." And then there's other dudes who'll swear to you, "Man, you got to get that sub-second draw. You got to be out there." I don't disagree with either of them, but you
can't do one or the other. You got to do both.
You got to do them both. And you got to have the mentality, one, train enough that you're confident enough that you can employ it when it needs to be employed, and only when it needs to be employed.
Right.
I was telling somebody the other day, man, I got pulled over once. I think I was out east, like heading towards South Carolina. I may have even been in South Carolina. I got pulled over by a young dude. I was speeding because I drive like a damn race car driver. And I did all my things, man. I don't even put my hands on the steering wheel. I put them over here where I roll my window down. I put my hands at the about 10 and 11. You know what I mean? This dude comes up, and I don't know if I fit the description. I don't know what. He already had his hand on his gun, which to me is an escalation. And he comes up and he kind of does this little peek or something. I don't know what caused him to draw his gun, but he drew his gun. And then he kind of pied all around him to me. And the fucker had his hand on a finger on the trigger. And I was like, "Hey, man, I know you don't hear anything I got to say right now, but please take your finger off the trigger."
Right.
Dude looked like he was about 22 years old, man. And I was so stressed that this dude was, because he was clearly nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what.
And that, again, that's one of those things that a lot of people who've never been in stressful situations or never had to deal with any kind of adversity are coming into law enforcement. And I mean, I don't know if something happens and they just stay scared all the time, but I see like a combination of complacency with a little bit of fear and a little bit of anxiety. And I got stopped here a while back, and I just happened to know the name of the officer that was coming up there. And, he'd been on the road. He's probably been on the road about 5 years now. And I start critiquing him when he gets out of the car out of habit. And I'm like, okay. And then, he's walking up, he's paying attention. Did an awesome job. And I'm like, "Yeah, man, you caught me walking the dog. I was hauling it up through here." He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, you were." He said, "Where you headed to?" I'm like, "I got a call about a snake in a pool. I'm going to go get a snake out of a pool." He said, "Is it your pool?" I said, "No, if it's my pool, I'd be in it." And it was hot that day, And did a really good job. But then there's been a couple times that I've pulled over when I've seen an officer like up on 53, whether it be coming in the city or going out of the city. and I just kind of pulled over and kind of watched because they're by themselves. And I don't want to say it's a good habit because I don't want them to get nervous, but I never parked close enough that it would raise a flag to them. And, you know, I've seen them walk up to the car, hand on the gun the whole time. And
I don't like it, man.
You know, I'm with you. And it's like I told our guys the other day. I said, when you're standing there and you're talking to somebody, what does this tell you? And they're like, well, I was like, it tells you I'm getting ready to pull my gun. Don't do that. It makes people nervous. Yeah. Like, you can practice going from here and out of the holster. You can practice that all day long. Don't do it with a bullet in the chamber, and don't do it if you're carrying a SIG P320.
Is there any official stuff around y'all's department yet on that? Everybody's canceling 320, man.
Except for the select few of, I mean, I don't want to say select few, but I think the Michigan State Police are going forward with their P320 order, and I'm like, are you serious?
They try probably getting them super cheap.
And if it's not Michigan, it's Massachusetts. It's one of those M states.
Yeah.
So if I got that wrong, you know, crucify me later. But that's a big write-up on that, you know, state police continuing with their SIG order after controversial firearms something or other. I'm like, there's no way.
Look, man, yeah. To me, you're taking your chances. I've seen some dudes on YouTube, you know, kind of pull the trigger, you know,
like right just to the wall, not through the wall.
Yeah, just to the wall, shake, boom.
Yeah,
that's not good enough, man.
No,
that's not good enough. I'm not a gunsmith, but I'm telling you, that's not good enough.
No, you shouldn't have that much play and manipulation in your slide anyway. No. But that's neither here nor there.
No, that's crazy.
I don't know anybody around here that carries one. All the agencies around here carry Glock.
Yeah, that's good, man. I'm glad to hear that.
I carry a Glock.
Yeah.
I'm just
because it ain't gonna break. All right, let's get back on mindset a little bit. So, I think I got here check the box mindset for. That's what I equate the qualification to. To me, that's a check the box. That's not a qualification. It shouldn't be called one.
Yeah, it's let's make sure we can do this. Let's train to this. Check the box. You're right. I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah, and then so check this out.
I view it.
This was from a GBI, some study or some paper. Resistance to voluntary training. 25% of Georgia officers cited a lack of interest in any voluntary training whatsoever. So one quarter of the troopers out there just ain't got no time for any addition.
Now, was that just state troopers or was that across the board?
It was GBI. It said Georgia officers.
Okay.
It wasn't troopers.
So,
yeah, it was Georgia officers.
So.
Now, I don't know how many they polled. I don't know.
That 25% is the 25% that were being honest.
They were being honest.
So I'm telling you right now, there's nothing worse.
Bump them numbers up another 10 or 12.
Nothing worse than trying to get officers to train. You know, we talked earlier about in-service training and it being mandatory at Rome. I went to it and I wasn't always engaged in it.
Yeah.
Some of it I was like, why am I having to do this again over you name it?
Yeah.
You know, but.
Well, some training is more valuable than other training, man.
Well, that's where I was going to.
That's a fact.
Where I was going to go with, like, you know, use of force and defensive tactics training. It's mandatory you do it. Having officers just like, well, I'm going to sit in this chair and watch. It's mandatory that they be there. Well, it's got to be mandatory that they do something as well. And it shouldn't just be your patrol officers just wanting to do it. And you hear so many complaints. If y'all try to hurt, nobody's trying to hurt you. We're trying to teach you something. Would you rather pull a muscle here?
That's an excuse, I think.
Right.
You hear a whole lot about that.
That's why I say I don't think the 25% is accurate. And also what I don't agree with is when you have qualification on the range, admin should not have their own designated time to go where it can be only admin. Admin should be setting an example for everybody else. Admin shouldn't have to go out there and have 6 attempts to qualify. And I'm not going to say that know it from personal experience, but your number 2 pencil will poke a hole in the target about the size of a 9mm.
That ain't right, man. That's wrong. That's a bad mindset. especially from a leadership, admin.
Well, they're not all created equal. And we can talk
yeah.
about that when we get to it.
And then and then I got another note here about some cops. I was surprised. I trained with a SWAT team, and there was a core group of dudes that were shit hot. They trained on their own. They cared. They were in it to win it. And then there was a lot of them that weren't even like gun guys. They were like almost anti-gun. They were on a SWAT team for a little extra pay or a little more clout or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't gun guys.
Right.
Now, I don't expect you to be a freaking, good old boy gun guy. You go do your own builds and all this stuff. But I mean, you can't have an aversion. You can't be anti-gun and be a armed freaking professional. Because if that anti-gun I get it if you're shit hot and you're anti-gun.
Right.
But you got to be shit hot. You can't just use that as an excuse not to train.
Right.
But I can't imagine anybody in this general vicinity up here is anti-gun. Any cops. I can't imagine. This is the South. This is the Southeast United States, man.
I haven't blatantly seen anybody that thinks or that said, I don't think people should have firearms. It should be only us. Not around here, especially in the South.
Yeah.
I think if somebody said that at one of these departments or agencies we got here, they'd probably find a way to get rid of them.
What about, have you seen any of that with female officers at all? I've had a couple females out here that were like this right here.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some who are nervous. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've worked with a few female officers that will jump in any fight out there. They will screw a friggin' Glock in your ear hole. I've worked with some badass females.
Yeah. No, they're out there, man. They're out there for sure.
Yeah. But then I've worked with some who are just males too, have no business at all being on the road.
I did a podcast a few episodes ago. I was talking about cop shootings, and that one female cop that pulled her Glock, yelled taser, 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 and blasted the guy.
Oh yeah, is that the one from Oklahoma where they're on the side of the road next to the SUV?
Somewhere like that.
Yeah, and she'd been, I don't know.
She was a 26-year.
Yeah, I was going to say more than 2 decades.
26-year veteran.
And said, I thought I was getting my taser. I carried a taser for about 6 months before I turned it back in, but not one time did I ever think I didn't know what my firearm or my taser was.
Yes. Now, I don't know if this was and now I know like most agencies, you wear your taser on the left side.
Yeah, you cross draw it, yeah.
I don't know if she had that dynamic. I can't remember. I've seen the video, and I can't remember seeing that.
I can't either, but I mean,
but aren't like
even under stress, they don't even feel the same.
They don't feel the same. I'm pretty sure most tasers are yellow.
Yeah, they're yellow and black. They don't weigh the same.
And what does that tell you about what she was looking at? I mean, like she was either fixated on the guy and had no like legit tunnel vision.
Yeah. She's not the only one. They had a BART transit officer guy, had a guy prone, thought I was putting my taser in his back and popped around off in his spine.
Now, was that guy a reserve cop?
I don't know if he was reserve or not. I just know he's a BART transit officer. I can't remember if he was reserve or not.
There was a reserve cop that I think did that.
But the video, you can see when he heard the pop, you could see that his demeanor and his face changed. He knew he messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Madness. Training. I think training would have solved that. And then I want to talk one more thing about mindset, and then we'll move to whatever. There was a documentary on no. It wasn't a documentary. It was a mini series on Waco, the Branch Davidians. You remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
And it was a good mini series. But there was a scene that made an impact on me. And the scene was between the lead negotiator and the lead, whoever the tactical lead was, managing all the fucking ATF and whoever else, FBI and DA, whoever else was all out there. And they were sitting at a picnic table. And, the negotiator guy was trying to like talk him out. And this guy, and this was already several days into it. Now, I know this was a dramatic reenactment, right? But the guy was like, he said something like, the tactical guy, he said 7,500, and the guy was like, what is that? And he goes, that's how many of us or that's how many citizens there are per cop, and it's us against them. And I made a mental note. I was like, fuck, man, do real cops think that? Because that's pretty. If you got a us against them mentality as a cop, especially a local cop that you grew up in the area, that I think that lends itself to some bad business right.
So, us against them. I've heard that, and I honestly believe there are some officers that have thought that. And I look at what makes you think that. And I talked to somebody about this one time, and I'm not going to say his name. He's a good dude, still employed, very knowledgeable, and very fair person.
Yeah.
He had something on his computer, and I'm like, and it was like, you know how you can make your homemade screensaver?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he had it on his computer, and I asked him about it, and I said, how's that going to look if your computer screens up and somebody reads that?
Was it like that, like us against them type?
No, it was. It said seek and destroy, and I'm like,
yeah.
And he ain't been on the road long by himself.
Yeah,
and we kind of talked about it. I'm like, well, and he's like, no, not. He's like, I'm talking about the 1% of people we deal with that need to be in jail, and he said, yeah, that's kind of us against them, because that's who we're looking for. We're not looking for Joe Citizen. We're not out here looking for the people who are your upstanding citizen who are contributing to the betterment of society. He said, but all these other folks that need to go, that's who we're out here looking for. And he said, yeah, that's what it's for. And I'm like, that makes sense.
In his mind, it is.
And I'm like, it makes sense. Yeah. I said, but your random citizen reads that, they're not going to understand that.
Yeah.
And I said, I understand it because you just explained it to me.
Right.
And, this has been 15, 20 years ago,
Well, that reminds me of, you remember the shooting? It was in a hotel. The cop had an AR-15. The guy he had like
in the hallway,
and he had like a pest control, like air gun or something.
Right.
And the guy was barking orders at him, and he was fucking confused. He didn't know what to do. And then the guy pumped him up.
Yeah.
And his dust cover said something like, die, motherfucker, or something like that.
Yeah, I remember them making a real big issue about that dust cover. I don't remember exactly.
I can't remember. It says something to that effect, though. And that's just it, though. That don't mean anything, but it's an indicator.
Yeah.
Of his mindset.
Well, it's like you've got somebody that changes the back plate on their Glock to the Punisher skull.
To the Punisher skull, or something like
it's
that.
It's like if you're justified and you have to pop somebody while you're carrying that,
well, look, man,
their attorney's going to eat that up.
Do you know how many external modifications I've made to my guns? Fucking zero. I make internal modifications and I wrap grip tape around the handle.
Right.
I don't need a Punisher skull on my gun. I get it. They're trying to flare it up. I understand.
And we do understand that. But an attorney who's wanting to...
But a greasy attorney...
is wanting to make a lot of money, they're going to chew that up.
The Punisher skull is notorious for what? The Punisher was a cop, a Marine, cop, vigilante.
That's right.
Who run around just whacking dudes.
Yep.
And there's young guys who... They want that. They believe in that. So that mentality of us against them is fucked up.
Yeah.
Now, I know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say them, I know who I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Right? The bad guys.
Yeah.
The friggin' rapists and the murderers and that. I get it. But if that's on your, like, you ain't gonna throw a bumper sticker on your cruiser says search and destroy.
No.
Or kill motherfuckers or whatever.
No, I'm going to put a red ribbon around my push bumper for a reason, It's Red Ribbon Week or whatever.
Yeah, man. Like, so I think there's young guys out there, though, with that mind. Not even young guys. I think guys my age probably out there with that mindset. And I don't even want to get too deep into, like, racism or, like, whatever other biases that exist.
Right.
But you can't, as a cop, man, you got to put them biases, you got to leave them at the house.
Yeah, and then you start hearing, well, it's a subconscious bias, and it's this.
That does exist.
And
But if you consider yourself a truly good guy, which cops are good guys, you should be a good guy. That you got to take that whole bite of good guy, not just
yeah. And you know, we
bad
talk
guys.
about bias. Everybody has biases.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody does, and you have to be able, when you're out on the road working, look at everybody fair and impartial.
Yeah,
you're dealing with, and that is so friggin' hard to do.
Hard to do, man.
It's hard to do, and you got to be able to let people run their mouth and get under your skin. That don't mean, you know, you get to knock them in the dirt and haul them off.
Yeah, well, you know, like smoking weed's not a death warrant.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not. I'm going to tell you something about that. My view on that is never really made a lot of weed cases, especially if you caught somebody with a little joint. There were times I'm like, hey, you need to stomp that out.
Yeah.
And then if there's nothing else wrong, see you bye. Call supervisor. Hey, this is what happened. You know, if the state would go ahead and legalize marijuana.
Oh, bro, that's a whole nother podcast. Yeah.
It would just take so much off
There's
the plate
so much
for
that could
police
be
officers.
decriminalized.
Yeah.
It'll make life easy for law enforcement.
Yeah, I'm just touching on it because if you legalize marijuana, you're going to take so much off the plate of law enforcement officers.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to have somebody that'll either comment or they'll call me later and be like,
Hey,
but if we decriminalize marijuana, then, you know, I can't just sniff the car and now I got my probable cause. They might be carrying 4 pounds of meth in there. I get it.
They might
understand.
be.
They
might not. So you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's the mindset. Impartial. I smell weed. You got weed? Yeah. All right. You got anything else? No. Yeah, you get lied to sometimes. Sometimes you don't. Whatever, man. Go on what you got.
Yeah. I'd say you get lied to about 85% of the time.
Mindset.
But
yeah,
and
man.
that's, you know, that's my opinion of somebody that, you know, has worked the road. And it's one thing if you got somebody moving a bunch of weight and they got a bunch of stuff and they're, you know, making sure little Bobby gets it.
No, I get it. There's indicators, different things. I get it. And it's an indicator. I get that. But I think decriminalization, yeah, man, I don't want people to think because you're on my podcast, you share my opinion. I think decriminalization of drugs in general will make it what it is a health problem and a mental health problem and not so much a legal problem. Now, if you get high and go rob somebody, you still rob somebody. Well, that's, you know, and robbing somebody is and should be illegal, right?
Yeah, it is. And I'm not going to say across the board decriminalization. You know, I think we should be out there trying to get as much fentanyl as possible off the street and stuff like that.
It's dangerous, but okay. I don't want to get off track too bad. I want to use Portugal as an example. They decriminalized drugs. Crime went down. Drugs went down. They basically centralized or rounded up these people, and they did drugs in isolation. Yeah, it was an overall benefit. Now, are we anything like Portugal? Nah, but I think it's worth trying anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. Who really knows? We could try that, and it could just have the opposite effect. It could be really, really good, or really, really bad. I mean,
maybe, or just like everything else, you
don't really know until you
have to work it. Yeah.
Until you try it.
But that's a very libertarian perspective, and I happen to have. Yeah, but what else? Cultural shifts. Now, okay, let's talk about cultural shifts. And I don't know if you're seeing anything at your level, but I'm seeing it on the internet because there's some high-level trainers out there that have been busting balls on cops for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's cops that are now high-level guys who are jumped up, or guys who train and who care about it, and now they've made their way up the ladder, and they're starting to be able to influence their agencies.
Right.
And dudes are starting to shoot competition shooting versus not, and they're starting to put emphasis on practical realistic training, not some tactical madness that you see all over the place. And I think there might be I think it's starting to take hold. That's what I see on the internet anyway.
Yeah, I see everything, like you said, going from the tactical stuff to shifting to that reality-based scenario training.
Right? Practical. And, yeah.
I'm seeing that a lot more too. I know there's a few people in some of these local agencies that are, for instance, they're post-certified Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructors. And when they have an officer who wants to train with them, they can document that time. And after 100 hours, if that officer passes a skills test, then they can certify them. And, that's just one of those things like, how are we going to get better at controlling people to where we don't have to pull our gun on them? Not saying, hey, we're going to try to control this guy that's got a brandishing a knife.
Yeah, I ain't going to go up against a 300-pounder either, but
if if it's a 300-pounder that don't know what he's doing,
yeah, maybe
it's no factor. Maybe. But nowadays, there's a lot of people who are training. The gym I go to, Emperor City Grappling Club, I'm not a small fellow, but we got some
big boys there.
Got some dudes in there that a couple of them make me look small.
Yeah.
I'm in that high calorie grappler crowd.
Yeah, I'm in the high calorie crowd.
But that's where things have shifted from how do I look to how do I perform.
Right. Yeah, man.
And I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, that's good, and I'm glad that's happening. And I'm trying to be a part of that. I hope. I had a fellow out here. He brought some folks from his agency out last week or the week before. Then I started, Facebook stalking him. Dude's a published author. Man, it was pretty cool.
So what I'm doing on that is I've been talking to our training officer saying, hey, this is a really good opportunity, and I just started talking to him earlier today about it. That trying to get you to do some training. And hopefully it'll take, and then they'll start wanting to train on their own more.
Yeah, well, here's what I'll try to do when I train with cops is like, and you witness it firsthand.
Yeah.
Somebody does some bizarre shit, and I say why, and then I either beat it right, or explain why it's
right
inefficient, and the clock don't lie, man. Like.
You're right. It doesn't.
The clock don't lie. If it's less efficient, it's gonna show.
And, when I come out to train with you, I'm happy for the clock because it lets me know.
Yeah, the clock don't lie.
And because I want to go fast and because I want to be accurate, it highlights the flaws.
Yeah.
And
I say it all the time, man. Anybody can shoot with no time. I can get my 4-year-old out of range.
Absolutely.
To shoot the Georgia qualification.
The GDAT, yeah.
With no time standard, and he'd score 80%, no problem.
Right. But as far as cultural shift, yeah, I'm seeing that, and some of it, like I said, I know a few guys that are with the local agencies that do that, and then there are other people within the local agencies that have reached out, hey, when are you going to be doing this, or can I come to this? The campus police department for Georgia Northwestern, what we're doing right now is we're working a training calendar to where we are trying to implement a 4-hour block of that hands-on jiu-jitsu training twice a month. And it's going to be open for everybody in the department. And if we have people outside the department that want to show up, come on.
Yeah.
I'm hoping by next month we have something set in stone to where we can do that. Because I would love nothing more than these officers to come out and learn these hands-on skills to where, like I said, if you don't have to pull your firearm and you can control somebody.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like it. And look at the mindset. Training mindset is a weird thing because it's a series of things, right? Mm-hmm. But confidence.
Absolutely.
That's what you're building right there.
Yeah, that's part of that is building their confidence.
And the better your skill gets, the more you're confident. And the more you're confident, ironically, the more calm you are when
and
bad things happen.
I posted some pictures earlier today or late last night from one of the guys that we were working with. And what I do at the end of class is we do 2 2-minute drills with them where I'm telling them, hey, I'm taking your gun before this is over, and you need to keep it. And at the end of that 2 minutes, they're so exhausted and they're humbled.
Yeah.
And they're like, I didn't realize I don't know anything. You know, I may be breathing a little bit, but they're over there gasping and sucking wind. And I'm like, I'm able to relax doing this because I've done it so much to where you're freaking out. Exactly. You're using all your muscle.
But also the same as on the range as on the mat, economy of motion and efficiency. Right. You're exerting less energy, getting the same effect.
And I'm going to put something out there, and I told our training officer that I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. I'm a jiu-jitsu fanatic.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough that Post awarded me that certificate based on my training, and Carlson Gracie Jr. awarded me my blue belt. I'm just a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, brown belt in judo. I've been doing it a long time. I never really focused on trying to get belts and stuff. You know, Bruce Lee says belts are good for holding your pants up.
Yeah.
Do I want to reach the coveted black belt in jiu-jitsu? Absolutely. It might be when I'm 60, but whenever it is, it'll be when somebody greater than me says you're ready. But now that I have that certificate and we work so closely with the Academy for Georgia Northwestern, we are seeking approval to implement that into the Academy because they're required in the Academy to do 1 hour of PT every other day. So 3 days a week, 60 hours in the course. But we're going to offer it every day. So the officers that want to come in and do that for their PT on these 3 hours, they've satisfied that. And they also get their documentation. If they come all 5 days, at the end of that 20 weeks, that's their 100 hours, I will put them through a skills test. And if they pass that skills test, this is not a give me skills test.
Right.
And it is a 100% pass or fail. I'll let you do it twice.
Yeah.
If you miss 2 or 3 skills, I'll go over them with you. It's a lot to remember. I mean, it's a lot of skills involved in it. It covers all the basic skills that you would need to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. I'm not going to award anybody a blue belt. I would rather them be in an academy and do that. But if they pass their skills test, I'll sign off on their post documentation and they can go back to their agency and have an extra certification that other academies are not offering to people coming in. And I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. It's incentive. It's incentive for something.
Marietta was the first one to implement Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu into their stuff. Their liability went down. Their officer injuries went down. Everything went down. Now, we got to get approval. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be smiled upon and, the post gods are going to open up and say, yeah, let's do it. So if anybody's listening to the podcast and you come in and I'm there and we're able to teach it, fine. If you come in and you're a student and you're looking forward to it, we can't do it. That's just one of those things beyond my control. But once you're mandated, if you want to continue your training, I'll let you know where to find me so we can do that.
That's good, man. That's good because that's a big deal, man. You see videos all the time, cops getting their ass whooped, man. Cops getting their ass whooped. And it's tragic. Sometimes it's embarrassing a little bit, especially when it's a big boy.
Yeah.
And then he's getting scuffed up.
Yeah. And if that is implemented, there are going to be those officers who advance really quickly and they may learn those basic skills very quickly. And I know that at the end of this, and they've got their 100 hours documented, not going to be a problem. There's going to be the ones that's like, okay, I get it. You can't make everybody have the want to.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's not, jiu-jitsu is the basis, but we're going to, we have that defensive tactics portion too. We're going to teach you how to throw some strikes.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to, teach you how to throw a good elbow.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good stuff. So a little extra, not legally binding. Not legally binding. Well, but that'd be it's a good incentive.
Yeah, it's a very good incentive
because speaking of culture, never mind amongst the police, here's what I'm noticing. Well, I noticed it early in SF and then I'm starting to noticing it more just in the general population. These days, man, there are teenagers and 20-year-olds walking around like professional athlete fitness. The
Oh, yeah.
CrossFitters and
Mhm.
they got these meal plans and they all these things, and they're already at a level that, you know, back in my day when I was in the Army, it was just hard. You know, like you just be hard, and
Yeah, push-ups, sit-ups, run.
yeah, and yeah, there was a lot of physical stuff. You just fought through it and did it. I didn't know too many dudes who were like athletes.
Mhm.
These days in SF, man, everybody's a freaking D1 athlete, and they're fucking CrossFit, X Games, whatevers.
Well,
And
I'm
all
gonna
this
tell
stuff.
you what, and I have to brag on him a little bit. My 17-year-old, you know, I've been able to throw him around forever. He went to the Penn State wrestling camp over the summer,
Uh-oh.
and last week he was a little peed at me, and I said, "Look, if you're mad, that's fine. So we'll go out here in the yard and we'll wrestle until you're not mad anymore." So I'm not gonna get mad. I'll wrestle with you, whatever. And we went a couple rounds, and that first round, I was like,
You didn't realize you made a
I was like,
mistake.
oh my God. I was like, this kid, he's gotten faster,
Yeah.
and he's 157 pounds. He's like 6 feet, maybe even 6'1" now. He's a little bit taller than me. But he got fast. I'm like, he's hitting everything that I had that was open, and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
okay. And, you know, I was like, I'm going to have to move more with him. Well, we went the second round, and I decided I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. And we kept going until I put some pressure on him, and he's like, all right, I'm done. And, if he listens to this, then kudos. But if not, I didn't want to. I let him go in the house first because my wife's like, you got to realize you're older. And I'm like, I think I'm going to throw up. Hold on. and that little dude, man, I was like, and I told my wife, I said, I wanted him to know that I've taught him everything he knows, but not everything I know.
Yeah.
I said, but he's got,
hey man, he
an
go
upper
to
level
them
fitness.
camps.
Yeah.
I got a real good buddy. He's got his son is, I don't know, a middle schooler, but he's going to all these wrestling camps, and he's smoking it, man.
Yeah, I got a lot of hopes for him this year. He should do very, very well, and I think he will, as long as he maintains his discipline and keeps after it. It'll be a long season, start from October to February. But
when young guys ask me about going in the military and stuff like that, now, I was never a wrestler. I played a little baseball, I played a little football, but I moved around a lot. I never stuck anywhere. But I tell them, wrestling, if like young guys, like, go wrestle, man. Be a wrestler, because that's one of the most grueling physical. You're going to be fit.
Well,
he's been wrestling fit.
He's been doing no-gi jiu-jitsu too, and I watched him a little bit the other day after work, and I'm like, how many rounds have you done? He's like, 9 or 10. I'm like, 9 or 10. I'm like, they were 6-minute rounds.
Good Lord.
And I'm like, I'll do 4 of them, and I'll take a break in between after the second one, and I'm like, man, I'd like to have his endurance. But, you know, he started college. He's doing dual enrollment, so he's taking one high school class and the rest are college.
Nice.
And he's going to Georgia Northwestern for HVAC, and he's worked through the summer, the last 2 summers doing it, and his boss is like, yeah, we let him do, you know, troubleshooting and everything now. I just check, make sure it's good, and then we go to the next job. And I'm like, dang. Like, I don't know where he got that big brain energy from.
Well, that's
like,
good, man. I think, you know, again, speaking of culture shift, man, I think that's the way, man. Kids getting a technical skill, trade, making lots of money, and it don't cost an arm and a leg to get there. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, because he's doing the dual enrollment through the Floyd County schools, he's not going to have to worry about having like student loans and stuff.
Right.
So that's a plus.
That's what I'm saying.
And if there's anybody in, you know, Floyd County that's got an intelligent kid that wants to learn a skill, I wholly support the dual enrollment program.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't talk them out of it.
Yep. Nah, man, if they can manage that workload, do it, because it's just a benefit.
And back to cultural shift too, what I've also seen is, and you hear it all the time, these young people don't want to do this, that. Starting to see a lot of young people that's got really, really good work ethics. Something that had been missing for a few years. I don't know where it went, but it's coming back.
I tell you what, man, my daughter, she is 23. She hated college. She went to, we first sent her to Colorado Christian University, which is a awesome school, awesome programs, big deal. And we were very excited. She went and hated it. So she came home. I was like, babe, you got to go to school. Okay. She enrolled in Georgia Highlands. Hated it. She just don't like school. It's just the environment. But she's a worker, man. She's got work ethic by the truckloads.
Right.
She's just trying to find what she wants to do with it. But yeah,
she'll be one that'll have an entrepreneurial mindset.
No, that's probably what's, yeah. She already has ideas out there. But yeah, man, I think there was a time there, like, these kids don't want to do anything. They got stuck on the screens. But now I think they're starting to come out of this stuck on the screens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I think
because it's no big deal
parents
anymore.
that are, taking that stuff away from them at certain times of day now.
Well, managing it, especially for young ones, for sure.
Yeah, our 11, soon to be 12-year-old is he scares me when it comes to eating because he's 11 and he's 5'9", 140 pounds, and eats like a freaking horse. But anyway, we have to monitor his because he likes to. I'm like, no, you got to get off of that.
Yeah.
But now that he's playing football, a lot of times he just comes in and is like, I'm tired of
He ain't got time, man.
He ain't got time.
He's smoked.
That's right. And it's doing him some good,
Yeah.
And I always hated school.
I did.
When I graduated high school,
hated it.
I had to go to a class. It's called the College and Career Academy now. It used to just be Coosa Valley Tech High School side of it. I had to go to a class to have enough credits to graduate high school. And I ordered my cap and gown like a week and a half before we graduated. Look, I hated it so much.
I did that too. Look, man, in my senior year, is when Georgia implemented the if you miss 10 days or more of school, it's automatic fail. My junior year and prior, man, I skipped school like a big boss. I hated school, but I was a good student. I guess I was passing tests. It wasn't challenging, right? My senior year, I thought, whatever. So I missed, I don't know, however many, 30, 40 days. And they're like, look, you're not going to graduate. And I was like, well, why am I here? No, you're not graduating. So I left. Then I decided I want to join the Army. So I go to Army recruiter, and he's like, well, we're not doing waivers for GEDs, man. You got to have a real diploma. And I was like, well, god dang, I kind of quit school. And he's like, I got a program. And in Smyrna, some off South Cobb Drive, there was like a Cobb Adult Education High School.
Right.
And it was a work at your own pace. I was like, man, if I'd have known about that, I'd have been doing that the whole time.
Right.
I went in there and knocked out half of my senior year in like 3 weeks.
Right.
Well, because you could test out. You didn't have to, like, there was a teacher there.
Right.
But I was like, hey, just give me the test.
The one high school class my son has to take is online. He actually doesn't start his HVAC courses till the 18th of August. And they're like, well, you have to come to school until you finish that one. He's like, can I work on it at home? They're like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to smoke through that in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you don't have to come back here except for when wrestling starts for wrestling practice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where was this when I was in high school?
Yeah.
And, we're talking about hating school. When my wife first went into the Air Force to do radiology, that's when I left the city of Rome. And when we got to Texas, I was like, I got to find something to do. So I went to aeronautical college and got my A&P license.
Nice.
And so I do that on the side and stuff. And we come back to Georgia and I'm like, well, I don't want to just be down here. And I know a lot of these upper positions, they require you to have a master's and this or that. So I started going back to school again. I was like, well, I'll get my bachelor's in criminal justice because I'm already really close to having that. And then I got looking at it and I was like, well, if I get a doctorate in public administration, what jobs does that open up? And I'm like, I hate to do it because I hate school. But if I can get into this position, then I can have a lot of say in what happens at these lower positions, like implementing stuff. Well, I've got about 3 years and 2 months to finish my doctorate in that. And I'm hoping eventually I would like to be I mean, if we stay around here, I'd like to be like the Dean over Public Safety for GNTC over all those programs.
Yeah, nice.
And, that way I can, depending on who's up there, we can really try to foster these programs and make them more real world specific.
That's good stuff.
Not that Post is doing a great job. They're going to say you got to do this, but at the school, what can we add to it that's going to be
right?
better?
You do Post, and then you can. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And they also give you, it's an 809-hour total curriculum, but they're going to give you some of those hours so you can go back and revisit stuff that you need to revisit.
Right.
Well, if we're going to go back and revisit stuff, we're going to make it better.
Yeah, for sure.
So I got a game plan.
That's
in the long
a good
run.
plan, man. So we gonna call you Dr. Ricky or what?
I don't know. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
That is weird.
My wife's like, why are you going to do that? I said, could you imagine when this is over and done with, I have a doctorate and people are going to look at me like, this kid barely even graduated high school.
I know. I can't. Nobody I know. I'm an uneducated guy, man. I can't even imagine having a doctorate.
And what I tell my wife this all the time. That's funny. I tell her, it's like, I got a 4.0 grade point average right now. She's like, how do you do that? And I'm like, I treat it like a job.
That's it, man.
That's it. I treat it like a job.
That's it. I would look. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine in my career trajectory right now what I would do with a degree. You know what I mean? Because it's all about the range. Which, by the way, we're that close to the handshake.
Down south?
No, over on Morton Bend Road, 50 acres over there.
Yeah, down south.
Because that's actually directly west.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
south side of the county, southwest,
west side. Yeah.
Like close.
It's almost on the azimuth, freaking
close to Alabama.
It's just off of highway. Morton Bend kind of does that loop, but it's Highway 100. Yeah. We're so close to that, man. Golly, I can't wait.
Well, regardless of continuing education or not, but the range and the firearm stuff that's pretty important to me. So that's going to be a long-term thing on my end.
Yeah, for sure.
I bought some of those stands that way. If I don't, if I'm not able to come out, I've got stuff at home to where I can.
Yeah, well,
set my stuff up.
My partner Kurt, that's what he says. He's like, we got to have the range has got to be awesome because everybody around here's got 5 acres or 28. Everybody can step out on their back porch.
You said Kirk Fennell?
Yeah.
I heard a lot about him. I've not met him, but a lot of people think highly of him.
He's a beast. Yeah, he's a beast. He's an athlete, purebred.
He one of them specimens.
He's a specimen.
He's a specimen.
I think he played football, college ball for Ole Miss. He's a bit of a renaissance man. I think he was a chef for a while. He's a Green Beret. He's a current Green Beret with 20th group.
Okay.
And he's now he's sponsored Tactical Games Elite Division guy, and that's his life right now. Yeah, he's a beast. Absolute specimen. Yep.
So a lot of people claim genetics, but genetics don't give you a work ethic.
No, this guy's it's work hard. Now I don't know how his dad looked when he was 30, but he's a lawyer. He's kind of rotund.
I know his dad.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I don't know genetics or what, but I know he works hard because the Joker lives in the gym.
Yeah, it's
I admire his dedication to it.
Yeah. I can only imagine what it would have been like. We're talking about young people now, how some of them are just extraordinarily fit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can look at some parents and go,
and you can see
parents had some given direction in that. And then you look at some parents and you're like, where'd that come from?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, when I look at my kids, I'm like, where'd that come from? Especially with my oldest one, I don't think I've grabbed hold of anybody at 157 pounds that was that strong, like in recent years.
Solid rock.
Good God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, man, let's circle that back around the cops. Like, you're out here on the streets. If you ain't tip top, man, like some of these people, they're little MMA ninjas, man. They will scuff you up. They will twist you up.
You're right. And I've told people on numerous occasions that you can lift all the weight in the world, but what you going to do if somebody gets you in a rear naked choke?
Yeah.
You
got to be the total package these days because there's young guys out there who are doing that. They're going to the gym.
Yeah.
And they're doing MMA shit and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And they're shooting. I tell you what, another realization I had. I follow a whole bunch of shooters right on Instagram and all that. And I'm not talking about pro shooters. I mean just shooters. Just in Georgia, man. Just in the Atlanta metro area. There's 50 guys right now I could sort of point out who are, master, A-class, master, grandmaster level shooters. And they work various jobs and do the thing. They're not all pro shooters, right? They're just
right.
They just go train. That's their hobby. That's the thing they do.
Yeah.
And you got some cop rolls up on you, and you catch this dude and you get outdrawn. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there who are better than you. So the way you handle these things, you either got to be ready for.
Well, there are going to be a bunch of people that think I'm just shit talking when I say what I'm about to say, because obviously I'm not in peak physical shape by no means. I mean, but there are a lot of people out there that are better than most of us when it comes to fitness, as far as people on the road. I like when I see the officers out there, that maintain their fitness and their training, like Casmore. Great dude.
Yes,
he's doing it right.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know there's other officers doing it right too, because I see it.
Yeah.
But then you look at some officers and I'm like, no, just no.
Look, man.
And I've reached out to some that I know, and I'm like, hey, I'm concerned about you. You're still out here doing this job, but I'm seriously concerned about your physical health. Like I know I'm carrying about an extra 40 pounds and I need to work it off. And I need to change my diet to reflect that. But I also know that I gained 60 when I had a shoulder replacement. So it's not easy. It's not coming off like it did when I was in my 20s.
No, it's harder as you get older. It's harder to burn them pounds off.
9 months post-op.
Yeah.
And, I just now 4 weeks ago got cleared to where I can start doing push-ups again.
Right.
And I try not, when we get out here on the range, I try not to let it aggravate me too much. But you'll see me out there doing this about every round, just because I'm trying to shake out the soreness already.
So one of the things I tell people, guns or no guns, fighting, whatever it is, all things equal, the fitter guy's going to win. All other things equal, the fitter guy is going to outlast the lesser fit guy.
Yep.
And heaven forbid he's got skill too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So...
And
yeah, it matters, man.
I try to roll with people I trust at the gym. I'm like, hey, I got this
for sure.
New shoulder. You do whatever you want. You roll as hard as you want. But if you start attacking that side and I start getting uncomfortable, you win. We're done.
Right.
And we'll start again. And I love rolling with Coach PJ. He's very respectful for it. Sam's very respectful. Everybody I roll with is very respectful of it. And it's one of the few gyms that I've been to that when you got something going on like that, they're real respectful of it. They want you to train and learn and stay healthy.
Yeah.
And, man, I'll get to rolling with, I rolled with Sam. I've only rolled with Sam once since I've been there. I've only been to 8 or 9 classes since I've been back. I rolled with Sam once. I'm like, this dude is going to smoke me. And I knew it was coming. I knew I was going to be dead. 6-minute round. I'm like, yeah, 2 minutes in, I'm smoked.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it went, and they just went to a tournament this past Saturday, won the state tournament overall team points, 16 or 18 gold medals. PJ still undefeated as a black belt, Georgia state champion.
Nice.
And I can't remember what all they won. Really good team. But PJ, not a law enforcement officer, but has the post certification to teach officers. So if there's any officers listening and they want to go to Emperor City Grappling Club, he can document their time.
There you go.
And, even though I can teach it, I still go up there because I want to progress and get better.
Yeah.
I got to bring PJ down here. He's interested. And he's like, I've grown up shooting guns and I love to turkey hunt. I'm like, I know a guy. So I've already told him, he said, my schedule's pretty tight. I was like, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring him down here one day.
No, that's good, man. Do it. I'd like to meet the guy. I've heard Danny talk about him. He's always talking about
Yeah, Danny was up there the other evening.
He's always talking about Emperor BJJ on his podcast. That's good, man.
Yeah. Overall, man, we do need to do better as far as law enforcement officers. It's easy to get complacent and ride around in your car. You know, you go however long, nothing really happens. You answer some calls, nothing, too out there, and then it's going to hit one day and you're going to be like, what the hell?
Well, that's the bad part is it may never hit, but when it does, you got to be there. You got to be in the game.
You got to be ready. Fortune favors the prepared.
Yeah. It's not comparable. Regular patrol cops, right? Guys who are just out riding the streets. It's not comparable to what I did at all. SWAT cops, I think it is because you can plan a mission, execute the mission. It's a thing. You go in, you got your team maneuver, however you set up on the house, you raid the house, do your thing. But cops who are out on the street every day, that can beat you down. Just being in the car all day.
Being in the car all day, if you don't get out and move, you don't get out and stretch, your gun belt's weighing on you, it's going to start causing you back problems.
Yeah, man. But instead of doing a little PT here and there, stop and get a burger. Yeah, it ain't helping you.
And it's, it's hard not to, especially when you're on night shift and everything's closed.
Yeah.
Now
that's a lot of stuff working against you right there for sure. And then in your time off, I know, man, in your time off, you want to go chill.
You better find some beef jerky and water at night, something.
Yeah.
Because if you start eating them 24-hour McDonald's, it's going to.
I tell you what, man, I've done in my career, I did a lot of surveillance training and surveillance stuff, mobile and foot and whatever. I never eat worse than when I'm doing mobile surveillance, man.
Right.
Because you grabbing stuff on the go and you grab what's easy,
Yeah. It's very easy to
just gallons of
just
coffee.
Go and get something that's in a hurry and not a good habit and I wouldn't recommend it, but I worked third shift for a lot of nights and you'd be fine till about 1 or 2 and then your eyes start getting heavy.
Man.
What do? You slam a 5-hour energy,
Yeah.
And then, and it is the price of doing business. You work all night and then you have to go sit in court all day and you sleep an hour and then you have to go work all night again.
Yeah, man.
That's not favorable, but you still got to make some time for yourself.
Yeah. You got to try to prioritize.
And I don't mean making time for yourself to sit and do nothing. I mean, make time for yourself,
make time for your
health and your fitness.
A little bit. I've never been like a overly healthy guy as far as eating freaking kale and whatnot, right? I eat meat, bro. I eat chicken and steak and hot wings.
It's the potatoes and stuff that go with it.
Yeah.
That's a little bit too much sometimes.
But yeah, man, you got to make time to try to be a little healthy, man. But yeah, Kazmar, it's good that you brought him up. I think he does it right.
He does.
He hits 5Ks. He's out there. He comes out here and shoots matches.
Right. And he's got to make time for it.
Yeah.
And I talked to him. I'm like, hey, how are you training for your running and stuff? He's like, man, he said, I have to sacrifice sleep and go to bed late so I can run at night.
Yeah. And he's got kids. And, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And running a farm.
So,
he's a supervisor on the road,
Cook Farms.
Cook Farm. That's right. Yep. They got really good beef too.
Yep. Cook Farms down in, it's like Cave Spring. No, Cedartown. Yeah. Cook Farm in Cedartown. We want some beef.
But Kazmar is one of those supervisors that is leading by example or trying to lead by example. But again, it's you lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink.
Yeah, for sure.
And usually the lights come on and something happens and somebody's like, yeah, that'll never happen again. And then all they want to do is train. And then sometimes something will happen and you never have that opportunity because now you just crap out of luck. You're no longer with us. Well, I hope that don't happen around here. But.
As a cop, man, you got to stay up on the cultural freaking ebbs and flows, the political ebbs and flows. Because there's a couple years there, man, cops are targets, man. I mean, it's kind of still going on a little bit, but.
Oh, what I was talking about, the 3 guys that I was talking about earlier from Rome, that 2014, 2015. they were arrested, and they had detailed plans on using pipe bombs and some other means toward local police departments here in Rome.
Yeah.
And there is actually a lot of great detail from the undercover agent who went and met with them and like went to this, I guess, some kind of party or whatever. And they kind of invited him in open arms and stuff. And he details it really good on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh yeah.
And I just caught a snippet of it. He's like, yeah, I went to this thing in Rome.
Check that out, man.
He said, I went to this thing in Rome, Georgia, and they were going to sacrifice a goat. And when I heard Rome, Georgia, it got my attention. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I remember that. And I just listened to him tell the story, and I'm like, this dude, this is wild. It is a good listen to on that.
That's good, man. All right, man. What else? Let's see. We've pimped Emperor City Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We've pimped Cook Farms.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else? I think that's about it.
Was it Southern Munitions?
Oh, Southern Munitions.
Yeah.
Glock for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Not P320.
Look, man, Kurt's a sponsored shooter, right? He's got a Atlas. I can't remember what Atlas he's shooting right now, but that's about a $7,000 gun. I can tell you, old Edgar ain't ever going to be shooting a $7,000 gun.
Well, if I do, it's going to be somebody else's.
Yeah, somebody else's. I'm a Glock man. I've got a 1911. I like Smith & Wesson M&P is pretty good. I'm never going to buy a 2011 like hot rod. I may end up with a CZ Shadow compact too, the compact carry.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as much as I plan to spend on a gun, but I'm a Glock man.
That 2011 was nice, though, the way he had it set up. He run it pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. You can feel the quality.
Oh,
when you pull the trigger, you're like, yes.
Now, we are talking about the same guy that was at the pistol workshop, right? Or are we talking
about
no.
Okay. No.
I'm going to say.
So that, what gun was that?
The one at the pistol workshop?
Yeah. What?
It was a Staccato 2011. He had the aluminum grips and stuff on it.
Look, I personally think Atlas smokes Staccato on just finesse. You know what I mean?
I don't know, but I've been looking at that one called the BUL Bull or Buell. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I'm not looking to buy one, but I've been looking at people shooting them in the reviews. There's so many guns out there.
There's so many custom 2011 makers out there right now.
And I'm not
insane.
I'm probably not going. I'm still thinking, like, do I put a Johnny Glock trigger in my 19, or do I put a Apex trigger in my Springfield?
So I got a Johnny Glock in my daily gun, but one of the guys that was out at that workshop, Andrew, he had a new, I think it was a Glock 45, and he had the Ramjet compensator. And he had whatever hollow sun on it, and I can't remember what trigger. I was like, man, I want to do that setup. And he just got that too, because he had a SIG for a while.
Yeah, I'd been looking at that Ramjet setup too, but I'm like, I don't know if that's something I'm looking at it like I really, really like that Hellcat Pro I carry from ADC. But also that Glock 45 I have at work.
But them Hellcats, they kick so hard. How does that gun recoil so hard? What design flaw? Because they immediately, when they first come out, man, like it wasn't a couple months later, they started making compensated models.
Well, yeah, that Hellcat Pro is better than the first one they come out with by far.
Oh yeah, the Pro, yeah.
The Glock 45 I carry at work, it's got the EOTech on it. I'm like, I really like it too.
Yeah.
And I went and traded the one that I had for that pistol course that didn't have the red dot on it. I went and traded that one that following Monday. They said, yeah, we got that one in. And I was like, I gotta make sure this thing's zeroed and all that. And, man, I probably done put like 800 rounds through that thing. I'm like, I love this thing.
Yeah.
Which also makes me think, do I want to, get one for myself, but put the Holliston on there, or do I just want to try to see what that Glock with the Koa on it's all about?
Man, to me, you know what? Price factor is what matters to me. Like if it's got the baseline quality, which Holosun does, and it's affordable, a red dot's a red dot. I happen to like the Chevron. That's why I got the one I got.
Right.
If Loophole still made the mini red dot that had a Chevron on it, the old version of the Delta Point, I would have been running that because it was all about the reticle for me.
Well, that's why I hadn't changed the triggers on that Glock or that Springfield yet, because I'm like, it costs money. I'm like, I need to, but
yeah, but there's some good Glock, especially you can get a good trigger, just drop right on in there, man.
Oh yeah.
And I think the next one I get, it's going to be a Apex. It depends. If I can talk Chad Wright into selling me, he's got a CZ Shadow 2 compact that he tested out. I think it's his daily carry gun, though. I assumed he was going to sell it and get rid of it.
Right.
And I texted him when he got it. I was like, hey, man, when you get ready.
Well, I watched one. I know he's been carrying a Hellcat in his like cross country bag
has he?
When he's running.
Maybe he's ready to sell that CZ.
Or maybe well, don't quote me on that. It was just a few videos ago, and I don't think it was like an old video that I watched.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about stuff he put in his bag for like going cross country and stuff.
I don't know, man. That might be an older video. I think I remember that one.
I don't know if it was that old or not.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, who knows?
Chad, if you're listening, I want that Shadow, buddy.
Everybody talks about guns so much, you know. John Lovell.
Yeah.
He put out a video. He said the quickest way to fix your SIG-P 320 was you take the slide off of it, and you take your Shadow Systems slide and you put it up here. But then you take this, and then you put the Shadow Systems bottom up here, and that solves your problem.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Well, he's fortunate enough to have his own liner, his own signature.
I've seen
signature gun.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they're good guns too, though. I mean,
yeah, I know a few guys that run Shadow Systems. To me, it's not worth the money. I just put a trigger in your Glock.
Well, how about this? If Glock is listening, we need an Edgar Mills custom special.
Yeah, right.
I'll be down in Smyrna at the Glock factory next week.
It would just be a stock Glock with a Apex trigger. That'd be the only
that's
thing.
fine. A little signature on the slide,
Yeah.
you know.
Little OSS model.
I'll be down there going through their armorers course next week.
That's good, man. That's good. A buddy of mine.
My employer's sending me to that. I do have to plug my chief because he is an advocate on training.
Yeah, that's good.
And he's like, everybody that works under me, if you want, you know, we can get you 160 hours of additional training a year.
Dang, that's pretty good.
You know, I went back through my training record, and even Rome City, they love to send you to training, you know, and like 160 hours a year. So I just went back because it'll give you your yearly average when you go through your post record.
Yeah.
And I think the highest yearly average I had was like 78 hours. And I'm like, I'm going to eat up this 160 hours.
I'd be trying to scoop all them hours up, bud.
Yeah, I'm going to get 80 when I go to firearms IT, and then I got a couple more. I think I'm going to go to first responders. I'm on the wait. Well, it's not a wait list, but I'm hoping to get selected for that class next month. Which, you know, that's a lot of like triage and
yeah,
you know,
it's good stuff.
Kind of a critical incident type response.
Yeah. We did a course out here with a company called Vitac, and it was one day or was it half day? Half day medical and then a half day everyday carry on the range.
Right.
It's pretty good. I want to start doing that. I'm not qualified. You know, I've done all the TCCC. I've done all that stuff throughout my career, but I'm not qualified to teach it. So I don't feel like I should teach it because it'd be down and dirty if I was teaching it. Tourniquet the limbs, seal the box, and pack the junctions, and get them somewhere.
Yeah, pack it till you can't pack it no more.
Yeah. I've got firsthand experience with that, and that was bizarre. It was an Afghan guy. I was just stuffing gauze.
Like, when's it going to stop?
Stuffing gauze. Like it was never ending. Unfortunately, I tried to, and once I ran out of gauze, man, I had my finger in there, and I was pressing as hard as I could. That was the first guy I ever seen, you know, the lights go out. But man, it was like you underestimate how much gauze
Oh yeah.
you can stuff in a wound.
To me, what's weird is when the lights look like they're out and then they come back.
This whole boy.
Up here on MLK, when we tourniqueted a guy's leg off, he damn cut it with a damn chainsaw, and it was only being held on by like a flap of skin in the back.
Skin. Oh man!
And he went through his thigh all the way through the bone.
Oh my God!
That joker was as white as paper when we got there, and he's just like, and I'm like, I was like, this dude's gone. Well,
did he throw his own turn? Did he have a tourniquet or anything on?
No, and I had one in the car, but when I turned to go into the field he was in, it rolled off the seat. Somehow or another, the dang thing got stuck under the seat.
Oh my God!
So I used the other guy's nephew's hoodie, and me and Andy Rast, who works at the city, we tied it off, and he gave me a stick, and we were tightening it up. And that thing and then the stick broke, and I was sitting there having to hold it, waiting on people. But when we did that, his blood pressure started coming back up, and he went from being pale to moaning and stuff. I'm like, I looked at him kind of funny. And then the joker's hand started bleeding.
Oh, man.
Where he grabbed the chainsaw to try to pull it out of his leg, and it was still running. Anyway, and I think I mentioned this on Burnham's podcast, that had I known then what I know now, I'd have drove a lot slower, and I wouldn't have given him any aid.
He passed anyway, didn't he?
No, he didn't pass. He lived through it.
Did he?
Good. Did a lot of surgical repair, and he just lost an appeal to what's that word I'm looking for? He lost an appeal about some evidence where he was caught trying to arrange a sexual meeting with an underage female.
Oh man, come on now.
So you tell me, if you get your leg cut off, I mean, you know what? And you go through all that,
yeah,
and you get another chance at life, but then
you didn't find Jesus, you went the other way. Good Lord, man.
And you know, a year after that happened, his house burnt to the ground right before Christmas.
Oh my God.
And then when the fire captain told me about that, fire captain, he said, "You remember that guy? You know, y'all saved his life." The one, I said, "Yeah, his damn house burned down." I was like,
"Did he live alone?"
I don't know.
I wonder if he's trying to set up liaisons with underage women, maybe he's trying to get a little insurance fraud.
Probably. That's probably what happened. But now that was 2015 and 2016 or 17. This other one he lost the appeal back in February to suppress the evidence. And
good Lord, man.
If he ain't been sent to prison yet, I hope he's on the way.
That's crazy. Good Lord. There's crazy stuff out there.
That's one of those things, you know, you come across in law enforcement and you think you're doing good, and then you find out later you should have just let him go.
Well, no, you can't. Yeah, man. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know,
at the time,
you were doing the right thing.
You're
doing the right thing.
Always do the right thing, regardless of what happens later.
I have that in my force on force class that we do. That's all situational. I go on active self-protection, and I pick out some incidents that happen in and around Atlanta, replicate those with role players, and then have the dudes react like. So everybody goes in cold. Nobody gets to watch it, and the guys go first, right? So once you go, you get to sit back and watch.
So that's what we need to do with the officers that
you go in cold
to school. Is that type of force on force training?
I set one of them up. Now, some people are going to whatever they think about it. So one of my role players was a transsexual, and she comes out here all the time to shoot. She was a former infantryman and highly intelligent and military, little historian, tactically sound, shoots well, loves to train. We don't get into politics. We don't get into anything. She just offers to come out and help. She likes to come out and shoot. So I'm purposely, the scenario was this. There was a row of cars, and you were coming from a building, and you were going in front of those cars to walk on the sidewalk, to walk down the sidewalk to your car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you round the corner, there's somebody getting boot stomped and beat by two dudes. And I made her the victim. And to see if anybody, the topic of conversation after the fact was, does it matter who's sitting here getting beat right now? It was like, you may hate transsexuals. You may think they're freaking, whatever. I was like, does it matter? Does it have to be a little old lady, or does it have to be,
Mm-mm.
or what if it's some big beefy ass black dude and he's got all the freaking gangster clothes on, but he's sitting there getting boot stomped by two dudes? Like, what do you do? Does it matter who's getting beat at the moment? Now, granted, there are times when you can put your nose in where it shouldn't be, but I'm not going to sit and watch somebody get beat to death.
Right.
Personally, right? So that was a deep conversation about like, why are we good guys? You know what I mean? And are we good guys if we don't stop a tranny from getting beat to death, but we stop a little old granny from getting beat to death? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so this guy, yeah, he turned out to be a shitbag, but yeah, you should have saved his life. Absolutely. You can't know.
Everything, like we've said, everything is circumstantial. You see what's going on. And
yeah, you absolutely should have saved his life, because he throwing it away with all that shit, whatever. That's on him, but whatever, man. It's crazy. And that's the kind of ambiguous shit that cops got to deal with daily. So being a libertarian, right? I'm not a like an anarchist where there needs to be law and order. 100%. I agree with that. I think there's too many laws. I think our lawmakers are flawed. Everybody's flawed, but I mean, I think
everybody's flawed.
I think there's too many laws.
We're talking about you need law and order. You need some form of government, but it ain't no way in hell it needs to be as big as it is now.
Oh no, now minimal government. Now I am a minarchist. That's the thing, minarchist. I do believe in minimal government.
Yeah,
to do the bare minimum governmental functions as outlined in the Constitution.
It's all that what really irks me is the overreach, and then when you're making, rules for thee and not for me.
No, that's right, and that applies to everybody all the way down the chain too.
I mean, you can even go and look at your local government and find that.
No, that's right. That's right.
And that's it annoys me to no end that when you have a county commissioner say something to the effect of, I was put here by the citizens to make hard decisions, and, your property tax is going up because I voted yes to this. Well, the right decision and the hard decision would be, everybody's struggling right now. No, don't vote for the property tax to go up. Live within your budget for this year instead of trying to earmark all this other stuff.
Well, that I was put here to make hard decisions is bullshit. You're put there to make good decisions.
Yeah.
And sometimes those good decisions, one, there shouldn't be no fucking property tax, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, if you're a disabled veteran in Texas, you don't pay property tax.
Yeah.
And that's a plus.
But I ain't moving to Texas. I like it, but I ain't moving there.
You're talking about property tax. I'm a firm believer that once you no longer have kids in the school system, you'll not be paying property tax to the school.
Hey, man. There's a fellow named Shane Hazel out there who he fights that all the time. He does not get anything from the state or the county or anything. He's self-sustained. His kids are homeschooled. Does his own. I think he composts his own trash.
Let's say that, and if you got kids who are homeschooled and you're paying, 65% of property tax in Floyd County goes to the school system. Yeah. But then you have the commissioners stand up and say, well, we need more money for our operations budget.
Nah, man.
But here's the thing. If you raise property tax again, well, the school system's still going to get 65%, and you're only going to get this. It makes no sense.
That's incremental, but look, yeah, we could talk. We could do this forever. Yeah, politicians at all levels are garbage.
Yeah, we could do this forever, but
all right, man. Well, look, thanks for coming. Thanks for talking about cop stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some more detail on, because when I do help out at the academy, I'm not there for every single thing, so I don't want to give insight on something that.
No, I hear you. Yeah, for sure.
Teaching.
You can only speak on what you know about. So, absolutely.
I do suspect I'm going to be more involved in that as the year goes on.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be looking on the full-time side of things for that, to where I'm not just working for the campus police and as needed. So
Yeah.
there's some things coming down that hopefully if they come to fruition, then I might be able to say, hey, we got a special guest to come up here today to help run this range.
Yeah, I'll do it, man. I'll do it for sure.
And especially for tactics portion of stuff.
I got some insights. You know, I'm a very fluid guy when it comes to tactics, man.
If anything that I can help to send a student from the academy back to their agency that is going to benefit them, then that's what I'm all about.
Absolutely.
I want to.
That's right.
And Brandon is the same way. And the guys up there now who are, doing the job, they're doing a great job. There's been talks of retirement stuff. I mean, after you've been teaching for 20 years doing the same thing, it's time, people want to settle down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, hopefully when we get up there, and I don't think hopefully, I know we're going to do it right when we send students back. So
that's good, man. Yeah, so this wasn't just to bang on cop training. I do that enough as it is. Just trying to see, what's going on and how it could be better. Now, I got to say, I think 3 weeks of firearms training is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't think that's too bad at all. Now, that being said, like in SF, we do advanced urban combat course, and it's about 2 or 3 weeks of just shooting. But we do it like once a year.
Right. Well, we'll be running 2 academies per year now with the 809-hour course. It takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So you'll get two classes a year out of the academy for that.
Yeah.
The only way for us to do more would be having 2 classes going on at once with a bunch more instructors.
Yeah, now you're talking about big budget stuff because you're paying salaries and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be not something that'll be anytime soon.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll ever happen, but
that's a big bite to have 2 classes going at the same time, man.
But we'll put our focus and everything to the ones we have now, because like I told Brandon when I first took the job and I started helping out here and there, I'm at a point now that I feel like it's time to give back to where I could take my knowledge and my training and my experience, and say this is how we did things that was wrong.
Yeah.
Now we've learned. Now we know, and this is how you do things.
Yeah.
You got to be able to look at things outside the box.
Well, these days with cops especially, you kind of got to deinstitutionalize dudes and then teach them how to be critical thinkers, or at least how to apply it to training and to work. Some guys are critical thinkers at everything. Then they go to work and they do the same thing. It's the way we've always done it. It's the way we've always done it.
And that's right. And, we could take that back to cultural shift too.
Yeah.
People are realizing that, hey, and this is what I want people to understand about the job that they're in when it comes to law enforcement. Know your job. Know what you're doing with your job. And be undeniable to where when you say, this is how it should be because it's written right here, it's right here in this law book, case law says this, legally I can do this, and you're doing it. Be undeniable with it. Know what you're talking about.
Yep.
And if you need to show it to somebody in black and white, be able to open the book and go, it's right here.
Yeah, that's right. I used to be that way about doctrine. Everybody in SF, especially when young guys come in, they want to do all this wazoo shit. And I always said you can't manipulate doctrine unless you know doctrine.
Yep.
You got to know well, back in the day it was 7-8. Now it's 3- something. I don't know what the infantry manual, but
and definitely know your departmental policy.
Know your policy
inside front out, and back.
You got to know them.
You've got to know them, and you also have to be aware of those administrators who will look at that policy and say, "Oh, you broke that policy," even though you didn't break that policy.
Yeah.
They'll try to use policy against you, and you need to be able to put.
Well, that's why you got to know it.
That's why you got to know it,
or at least a reinforcing reason why you got to know it, so that you can say, "No, I didn't. I know exactly what that policy is."
Yep.
Yeah, you can't manipulate. You got to know within the parameters of your job. One thing that took me a long time to learn is I wanted to do things I wanted to do in the art, kind of my way. And I realized that my boss, and I've had a series of good and bad bosses throughout my time there. in SF, well, in the Army in general. But like at the end of the day, their priority is my priority. They're my boss. I don't really have a I shouldn't have a priority, right? You tell me what's important, and then within the scope of commander's intent, and doctrine,
yeah,
I'll do what you want me to do.
yeah,
yep. And then if I do what you want me to do, you got to back me up.
yeah,
yeah.
And 100%, if you ever get called on the road, if you ever get called in the office, chief's office, any supervisor's office, and you're getting grilled and they say, "Did you do this?" They already know you did it.
Yeah.
You better stand there with pride, poke your chest out, and say, "Yep, I did it, and this is why."
Yeah, and this is why. Exactly.
The quickest way to get a bad reputation in law enforcement is going there with your supervisor and lie about something, and that's the fastest way out the door.
Yep. That's a sign of kind of maturity level and stuff like that too.
It's a sign of poor integrity.
Right, lying about it. Like,
yep.
Yeah, man. You got to know your stuff. You can't just, oh, so and so told me.
Yeah.
You got to know your stuff, man.
And you got to know how to talk to people,
especially as a cop.
Especially as a cop, if you talk to people on the road like you've known them forever, you'll go a lot farther than if you talk to them like they're ignorant or talk to them like they don't understand anything.
Yeah.
You're going to run into the people that they only understand one way of being talked to. And unfortunately, you may have to use foul language to get the point across.
Yeah, man. We call that reading the room. You got to know your audience.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's not everybody. Most people you can talk to like we're talking now and everything's all good. I've been to some domestics where the house be tore up from the floor up and you separate them and you're talking to them like we're talking to now. And, somebody did do wrong. Somebody's going to jail, but they're all calm and
well, that's professionalism.
Yeah.
Being able to deal with things, however calm, but being ready for whatever happens.
Yep.
Especially violence, right? You can be talking to a guy like this and that joker's he's just waiting.
It is you be nice, polite, and professional to everybody, but always have a plan to kill them if you need to.
Yeah, that's right. Who said that? That was a Marine. Who was that?
Shoot, I heard that from the first day I walked into the police station as an employee before I went to the academy.
No, a Marine said, damn, what Marine was it? Somebody said that. Anyway, that's right.
It might have been Chesty Puller. It sounded like something he'd say.
That's right, especially as a cop, because I'm not even a cop, and I know criminals will lie. They'll smile right in your face.
Mm-hmm. And that's not saying that's something you want to do, but you got to be prepared to do it.
No, that's right. That's right.
Because there's people out there, they don't care about you. They don't care about who you got waiting.
Prepare to respond, prepare to deal with whatever comes.
But anyway, just, not trying to get off on a tangent about that or anything. I got to give props to the instructors out there. We have a lot of jam up instructors. Some of them has got a lot of combatives experience and not like just Georgia Northwestern, but post instructors. You got, James Manning down at the Regional Academy at Georgia Highlands.
I know James. He's
a scrapper. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Does really good when he puts on DT courses.
Yep.
We could go all day long about the quality of some of these instructors out there. So
if
any future.
Yeah. Let's caveat right now. We're talking about institutional training, not individuals. We talked about mindset and stuff, but
right.
There's some freaking stellar cops walking the street.
Yeah, there are
stellar cops walking the street, doing exactly the right things, training on their own time, their own dime, and all those things. Yeah, for sure. What I want to address more than anything was, institutional training. And then maybe a little bit, how do you get guys in the right mindset who ain't? But
that's it's difficult.
That's a leadership thing.
And you hear people, talk about morale within a department,
which is also a leadership thing. Leadership sets the tone.
It does, and I hate when I hear somebody say, "Well, if you don't have good morale, it's your fault." How's that my fault when I work for you and you're doing all this extra stuff?
Leadership sets the tone on that for sure.
It's
If you got dudes walking around scared to lose their job at any moment because your senior guy's freaking bipolar, like one day you're his best buddy, and next day he's in your ass about everything or anything.
or if you do something that doesn't look good on camera, but you're right, you're well within your right to do it, and it needed to be done. Oh, that don't look good. We got to get ahead of this. So guess what? Guess who the scapegoat is?
Well, yeah. So, stuff like that, man. That's too much, man. I don't think I'd be a cop.
You'd be a really good campus cop.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah,
just chilling around.
Because you just got to walk around the campus and say hey to everybody, and then go back to your office.
Tea.
Go back to your office, or when they call, say, "Hey, we're going to do training today. Let's go do some training."
Let's do it.
Perfect. Why do you think I'm at a campus now? I don't have the tolerance to be on the road anymore. Oh, man.
All right, man. Let's wrap this madness up. So, what's your last words? What you want to say to the few peoples that are listening, the three or four people that are listening?
Well, if they're cops, just know your job and be undeniable in what you're doing. Always do the right thing and make sure you're doing it better than everybody else.
There you go. And I'll add to that, if your heart ain't in it, get on out.
That's right. If your heart ain't in it, get you a job at a buy here, pay here car lot.
Go be a DJ. That's what I tell everybody. All right, man. Good. All right, good people. This has been myself and Ricky Robinson talking about all kinds of stuff, mostly cop training. What's coming up? Damn, OSS. I should have pulled my calendar up. I think we got August 9th. We got a rifle workshop coming up. Let's see. August 23rd. We got another pistol workshop coming up, which is not going to be a heartbreaker like the last one. We're going to work on some moving in and out of positions and some agility and stuff like that, shooting fast. And then August, where we at? I want to say the 30th. We have a wild card day. Yep. And those are random drills that we pull out of the drill index card deck. We run about 3 or 4 of those drills together, analyze them together for value or whether they were bullcrap or good. And then we all run the Blackjack 33 challenge. And if you score 90% or better on that, you get yourself a Blackjack 33 coin. Please go on the website to look at the backstory on that. And then 1 September, that's Labor Day. That's Monday, Labor Day. We got an action pistol match. So if you top shooter on that action pistol match, you can win some free training. And that we'll be able to post we're going to post the scores to practice score for that. And then, as always, private sessions. We're always scheduling, folks, always. And then for Two Team Guys, please check out the website, twoteamguys.com. We got land navigation coming up, date to be determined in September. And we got the way we're scheduling those courses is that if you have 4 or more people who want to train, we will schedule a course for you. I'm not going to put them on the calendar. It's too difficult to get that many people on the same sheet of music for an open enrollment course. So if you got a group of people that want to do some outdoor adventure leadership and team building, come on out. We've got search and rescue mountaineer. We got situational awareness. We've got a small mission unit or small unit mission training, or not training. That's a scenario-based course where we do a little bit of live fire training, and then we do some team development and planning, and then we go execute a mission. Pretty awesome. We've got surviving captivity, which is designed specifically for overseas travelers, whether you're a salesman, a missionary, student going abroad, a journalist working for a small-time organization. It's good preparation for overseas training, but folks, it's called surviving captivity. There is a captivity portion, so be advised. What else we got? Search and rescue mountaineer. Those are very technical climbing skills. We'll do some climbing, rappelling, And that is also a scenario-based course where we will go and rescue a lost and broken hiker. So we will work on climbing, then we'll work on haul systems, a little bit of first aid, and things like that. Very teamwork intensive and very detail oriented. So check that out. And as always, thanks for listening to the podcast. Please go on thejuntopodcast.com. Check out the blogs. I'm always posting blogs up. Please give me some feedback on those. Some of them are a little deeper than others. Some of them are a little lighthearted, but I'm always welcome your feedback. And if you got any topic suggestions for the podcast, or if you know just some compelling human beings you'd like to get on the podcast, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to get them here. Other than that, folks, I appreciate you, and I love you. Be safe out there.